I'm coming through. When the growth look good on you, best believe they wanna screw now. I've been trying to climb, devil threw me in the dark. Baby, don't be insecure, you can still go make a mark like blow. Could never let them drain my soul now. Blow. Table turning like doorknobs, wow. Blow. I think I'm about to set sail. I'm a walking, living legend, walking with my chest out. Life keeps dealing me cards, I keep feeling it.
We're back, people. We are back in the damn building. Big up to everybody who is already inside. You know what time it is. You know what it is. We're back this evening to do our Premier League predictions. And this evening I'm joined. Mandem is back. And we are waiting potentially a couple more. But Roms, Jerry, the guys are here tonight. What you man telling me, man? You guys good?
Yeah, man. I'm good, G. Like I was saying to you off air, yeah, we love our club and that. Sometimes to speak about Liverpool, Jay, we do it every day. It's nice to speak about other clubs and what we think, how we think other clubs will get on in predictions. I always say prediction streams are fun because it's like you can interact with the viewers and that they can clip it up, they can come back. But gee, you said this at this time, and it gets that rapport going. I love prediction shows. But yeah, man, I'm good. I hope you're good. Hope JJ's good. Everyone in the comment. Smash them likes as well. The minute you get in here, man, run up them likes.
No, factual. Jerry, I don't know if he's here, if he's in the back. Hope you're blessed, my bro. It's been a long time. I ain't seen you in a while. And that.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's a good time. No, I'm good, man. I'm good. There's something going on with my camera. I'm trying to sort it as we speak. So bear me, people. But I'm here. I'm live in not in the flesh because you can't see me, but I'm live in voice and in spirit, innit? Treat me like the Holy Spirit today, man, until I sort this camera out. But big up everyone in the building. Make sure we are smashing a like, and we're on the road to 1.5 million subscribers for G, man. So, yeah, let's go.
JJ says that kills me. Big up.
I said 1 point for now. Big up. And guys, listen, man, make sure you're smashing that like button. And make sure, obviously, if you're watching this on my channel, make sure you head over to Jerry's channel and subscribe to the damn thing. If you're watching this on Jerry's one, head over to my channel, hit that subscribe button. Come on, man. We're two of the same, man. We're two of the same. I'm wondering. I'm just taking notes. That's all. I'm just taking notes, my guy. What are you telling me, bro?
That's your kid from Twitter.
That's following me around everywhere. I tell you.
Bro, this guy's made that meme have a different meaning to it, bro. Every time I see it, I just think of G. I'm like, bro, I've seen this so many times, but since G's landed it, all I think now I see it is this guy.
Yeah. It's got to the point, and yeah, I've seen the odd person use it. I'm like, no, man, that's my guy. You can't use that.
Like, this meme's been about for time, but we just associate with
Bro,
G.
it's been around for time. I just there was never a use for it, but now we're here, man. But Ends, thank you for obviously joining us this evening, my bro. How are you, man? How are you?
I'm honestly, man, I'm good, bro. I feel like I haven't done a show on your channel in a minute. Hey, listen, we're here, bro. We're here to hold ourselves accountable. We're here to chop it up, man. So it's blessings to do a show with you, man. Because I'm always watching your stuff, seeing Roms as well, seeing and then obviously JJ.
Spirit, You got the big up Mark here, got Bible in my hands. But listen, man, the people are watching, man. The people hear it and the people see it 100%. But obviously, you guys already know, the vibes. Big up Zane G is Mr. Take Notes. He's trademarked it from Hey, listen, man. Flawless, we can have a chat, man. Big up Flawless as well. Make sure you guys head over to his channel. Look, we're here. We want to talk Premier League. Now, first and foremost, what I do want to say is if you guys haven't done so already, head over to Ensman's TV. They did the Premier League predictor, him and Savage. It was very, very good. Very, very interesting. Just see where they place Liverpool and then come back and let me know what you think at the end of the show. Blah, blah, blah.
Add context to that, bro.
Now, guys, make sure if you want the context, head on over to Ensman TV. Go and check it out. Do wonderful stuff, wonderful things, him and Savage. So make sure you guys are obviously over there. Just to kind of rifle through a few last of the comments. Obviously, I'm guessing this is in regards to one of the questions I put up there about who you guys think might get relegated. Mark A saying Wolves, Sheffield United, Luton Town going down in that order. Hey, we'll wait and see what the guys obviously think. Hi GTV, Roms, Jerry, Ends, and everyone. How are you all doing? Bless up everyone. FSG, how back, Klopp, like, comment, subscribe, many things. Now, big up Richard Hutchinson in the building. Blockman, I swear I love your name. I swear that just saying that name, Blockman, I like it. You guys, this Caicedo thing smells like Bellingham vibes. I say City, Arsenal, Chelsea, Newcastle. I'm guessing. Well, I don't see Liverpool in that mix, so it's a bit of a fugazi one, man. I can't lie. Big up, obviously, Scraps in the building every damn to cheese. Snoop Dogg. Let me know if you got Dr. Dre with you. G's up, O's down. I feel you, bro. I feel you. Look, let's just dive straight into it. I don't want to make this too long for you guys out there. I know there's quite a lot of people who are also streaming as well, but let's just dive straight into it. Just a kind of quick one. Do you guys think that this season is important for quite a few teams? Like not even just Liverpool, but I mean in terms of other teams out there. So whether they be, you know, further at the bottom, whether they be, you know, the Crystal Palaces, the Fulhams and stuff like that. Do you guys see this as a vital season moving forward, especially where we've got this new legacy thing that's obviously come into play? So maybe a few teams might be thinking, you know, along those kind of lines as well, in terms of maybe I need to get into the top 4 to just cement my place, as opposed to, you know, trying to fight for that, you know, 5 and 6 and stuff like that.
For me, there's 4 standout teams this year that I think is a bigger year than the next Premier League team. Everton, ourselves, Arsenal, and United. And I say that to say this. Everton, they've been in a relegation. Let's be honest that I think I can speak for the London Liverpool fans. We don't hate them as much as the Liverpool-based fans because we don't know what it's like to grow up in the city and whatnot. I don't know any Everton fans. I don't know about you three, but it's not as intense being a London Liverpool fan, right? But they are a big club, especially in the Premier League. I think them and Arsenal are the only two that haven't been relegated in the top flight in the last 50-odd years. But they've been in a relegation battle the last 2 years. And I think their fans just want to see them away from that kind of mid-table, not having to stress, seeing nice football. So I say for them, it's an important season because if they're back in that relegation area, I think it can get even more toxic than we saw it last season. You're having man stop Yerry Mina going home in his cars and that. It got mad over there.
Yeah, it got peaked. I can't even lie. It got peaked.
For us,
so he's cut now. He's gone Fiorentina as well, man. He's cut. He likes.
Oh yeah.
He went to Fiorentina.
But for ourselves, look. Let's be honest. Klopp, I think not even Klopp has to prove to us. I think he needs to prove to himself that he can get back to somewhat certain level. But I don't even want to go too much in Liverpool. We speak about it every day. Arsenal, because look, they for me they have to go and win one of the big two now. They've added all the players that they need to. Some might say they might need another striker, but no, I know what you mean, Richard. But trust me, as London Liverpool fans, I spoke to a lot. The hate for Everton's not really there that much. That's just as a London Liverpool fan. But obviously, yeah, I know that's how it goes. But for Arsenal, look, they've got big pressure. Most of their fans want them to win one of the big two because they think they have the squad capable of, and they're well equipped. And I would say United because Ten Hag now, cool, he won them a trophy, he got them top 4, but they want to kick on. And let's be honest, the biggest club in the country, they need to now be winning stuff, or they need to see progression where they feel they'll be competing for the big two on a consistent basis. For me, it's them 4 clubs that are going to have the biggest season out of the rest. I think if City weren't to win anything this year, City fans might just say, look, Pep can have a year off. Look what he's done the last 3 years. Chelsea, yes, they spent a lot of money, but I feel like their expectations aren't as high as the other teams around them. And Spurs I think they just want to see good football. A lot of the Spurs fans I speak to, they're like, we're not really too concerned even where we finish. We just want to see like an identity. So yeah, for me, the main 4 clubs that I named, it's bigger seasons for them than the other clubs.
Jerry, Enz, what you guys thinking for this season, man?
You're on mute. You're
mute.
My bad. Doing that stupid stuff. My bad, people.
All good, bro.
No, I think I'm gonna go with Arsenal, Newcastle, the 2 that because I think Eddie Howe, if he doesn't perform this season, I think they move over and get someone different. I've had so many conversations about, you know, he's either man to take them further. Look, they're a massively rich club. They got into the Champions League now. What's the next steps? And if he falls out the top 4, they can't keep him as manager, bro, because they've already made big steps now. And then with Arsenal, Arteta, with the amount of money that he's spent so far as a manager, without really achieving anything, to be fair, if he doesn't get in the top 4, doesn't win a trophy, one of the big ones now with all the money that they've now spent, because that's the problem, the thing that we're complaining about as Liverpool fans. Our owners ain't spending enough. Theirs is. So then what is the expectation? The expectation is to go and win the Premier League, go and win the Champions League because you're now in it. It's not about making up numbers now. You got in there for a reason. So they're the 2 clubs I'm strongly looking out for. Man United, I don't really care. Ten Hag is Ten Hag, and he does what he does. Chelsea, I'm not really fussed. They're rebuilding, doing whatever. But they have the financial means to try and do what they need to do. And then the other clubs outside of that, I don't really care about Everton. I want him to get relegated. They keep surviving, but it is what it is. And then who else? I don't think there's anyone else. Maybe Aston Villa. I think they're another one to look out for because they've signed some very good players, bro. And, you know, them being in Europe now, got a great manager as well. Let's see what they can do, bro. They're another one to watch out for because I think if they can keep their squad fit, they're a problem.
No, fact. And big up little ends in the building in the cut as well.
Yeah,
Come
this guy, bro.
every time. Jerry, man, chat to the peaks, man. What are you telling me for this season? Is it going to be an interesting one? Is it important for some of these teams? What are you telling me, man?
Yeah, 100%, man. I think every season's important. Do you know what I mean? Because it's a reset, it's a hard reset. The teams that I'm actually looking out for is obviously Liverpool. We know that we're looking at Liverpool. I'm interested to see how Newcastle do. Very, very interested. On the contrary to what Enz is saying, I think they're not going to move hastily with Eddie Howe because I think they're actually their progress has been quicker than they expected. So I think if you're looking at even the signings that they made, they're very, astute signings. They haven't gone and broke the bank for someone. Someone mad, like tried to get Mbappe or tried to get Neymar that wants to leave or whatever. They've been quite smart by buying players that fit the mold of Eddie Howe, which means that they do see Eddie Howe staying there for a number of seasons. They haven't gone and tried to get a marquee signing that any manager can use. I mean, the signings of Harvey Barnes, Gordon in January as well, they're all players that kind of fit what Eddie Howe wants to go and do. So for me, they're quite interesting. I'm interested to see what happens with City, man. Can they do the 4 on the bounce? Can they make history in that regard? Obviously, losing 2 key players now in Gundogan and Mahrez, it's going to be quite interesting how they're able to go and replace those players, whether it's someone from inside the academy or off the bench, like a Foden or Cole Palmer. Bernardo Silva maybe playing out wide, even though that's not his preferred position. Obviously, they've signed Kovacic as well, so I'm really interested to go and see that. Another team that I'm actually quite interested to go and see is West Ham, man. Seeing how they recover after winning the Europa Conference League. Obviously, seeing the likes of Declan Rice leave, it's looking like Paqueta might be joining Man City as well. It's going to be quite interesting. Another one as well, there's a few, man. Burnley as well. I'm really, really interested to see what Burnley can do. I'm a massive fan of Vincent Kompany, and he's one of my idols growing up, playing as well. So yeah, proper interesting. And then last but not least, man, the Hatters, man, Luton Town. Obviously, me being a former Hatter, I'm really, really interested to obviously go and see what the Hatters can do, man, in the Premier League, man. And they are going to be my second team for the season. So if any of you guys see me wearing any kind of Luton Town training gear and old shit like that, then you know why, man. You know why, but yeah.
Hey, big up everybody, obviously in the chat. I'm just literally showing everybody here, some of the transfer business, that's being done. Whether that might change minds before we even start, I want to give everyone, the best opportunity to put their best foot, forward. Obviously, Jerry was talking about Burnley. I was quite interested because I really wanted to see who they've kind of brought in. I mean, they spent 18.6 on. I have no idea who the centre forward is. 22-year-old Zeki Amdouni. They got him from Basel. They've obviously brought James Trafford in, Jordan Bayer. They've spent quite a lot of money. They've spent quite a bit of money, to be fair, for a team like them.
Yeah, but you do get quite a lot of money though when you get promoted to the Prem, don't you? So I guess they have to kind of put that to use to make sure that their squad can cope with the Premier League demands.
No, it's true. We look at Chelsea, obviously typical. They spend God knows how much. Look at that. 45 on Disasi, 37 on Jackson. Typical Nigerian Leslie, they spent 27. Robert Sanchez, 23. And Jello, he's a very good player, good young player. Yeah, very, very good young player. So I'm quite surprised that he's even gone there, to be honest with you.
They learned him. They learned him yesterday.
Oh, they loaned him yesterday, yeah?
know where to, but I saw on the feed they
I think it's Burnley. I think it's Burnley, Lewis Hall.
No, I thought Lewis Hall was going to go to Crystal Palace.
Angelo.
Palace, sorry.
So I was thinking, obviously, Crystal Palace, they haven't really done much business, to be honest. They're a team that I'm quite interested to see this season as well. And I'm intrigued to know where you guys think that they would actually finish this season kind of thing. I mean, they've only got in Mateus Franca, at this current moment in time, got him for 20 mil. Jefferson Lerma, decent signing as well. Got him on a free transfer. I think he's all right. And then obviously, that's about it. That's all they've done. They've let a couple players go. I didn't know Zaha had actually officially moved to Galatasaray, but they're saying that he has here.
This guy's been training, bro. He's been killing training still.
Who's that? Zaha?
Zaha, yeah.
Oh, then there you go. But again, there's so many different teams, and I agree with the guys, obviously, on the panel today. I think it is one of those ones where this season, for me, I feel like this season is a bit more important for a few teams as well. Probably most of the teams that you guys have already mentioned, just because, like I said at the beginning of the when I asked the question, I think it is going to come down to certain spots. Certain teams have now got different aspirations. So teams like Brighton, for example, 2 seasons ago they wouldn't have been looking at Europe. Well, potentially they weren't really looking at Europe. Now they're a team who plays good football, decent manager. Will they be looking at it? Spurs. We've seen the news about Harry Kane. We've heard all about it looks like he may potentially turn Bayern Munich down, the audacity, but he's going to turn them down if he stays there. How do Spurs look, under Ange, new manager, different way of playing? Is that going to get the best out of the players? Obviously, Liverpool, what's going to happen with them? Signings, Manchester United. I feel they're just going to be janky throughout the whole season, but do something along those kind of lines. And then obviously we've got the usual Arsenal and Manchester City, and obviously all the teams down below. But without further ado, let's get into this big time. Let's see what I've won. And guys, if you've got any questions, anything like that, please put the questions up, and I will start all of the questions for you. Roms, you are funny.
Sorry.
That happened to me earlier on, to be fair. I can't even front. That actually happened to me earlier on. You guys can see that calm, right?
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right. So let's see, without further ado, let's just dive straight into this. Straight off the rip. All right. So we're looking at the relegation spaces. We'll start off there and work, obviously, our way up. Go on, 3 teams. And everyone in the chat, please, you guys join in as well. If we disagree and we can't put the 3 in there, we're going to look to you guys to obviously let us know which one we should go with. So you guys are going to potentially be the deciding vote. Start off with you, Roms. So I'll just go in order on my thing. 3 teams that you think are potentially going to be relegated next season or this season.
Cool. My first 2 are going to be Luton and Sheffield.
Mm-hmm.
What you're doing to me already. Hold on.
It's not only JJ thing.
Hey JJ, wait, JJ, you gotta wait in your turn, bro.
You gotta wait in your turn, bro. You put your case forward. My guy.
You know what's bad? I don't want them to go down because again, JJ. Sorry about that. JJ. Played for them. I've known a few people that played for them, and let's be honest. They're. I've always said I want a lot of the teams to be from London or just outside. You know what I mean? It'd be nice to have a majority of Prem that's quite local. But I just think their first season have they even been in the Premier League era? I don't think they have off the top of their head. So I think it's just going to be a bit too much for them. This season, majority of their players are still a Championship team. Sheffield, for me, Sander Bird is a big loss for them. I know JJ's a big I know JJ's a big admirer of him, and I do rate Sander Bird. Maybe not for Liverpool, but he's a baller. But he was the linchpin to a lot of things they've done. I'm looking at their strikers. I think they've got that they've got Brewster still there, and they've got that Jefferson, that young G. He's quite decent, but I don't know if that's enough to keep them up. And cool. If you asked me a week ago, I would have said Wolves. But Gary O'Neill, I think that's his name. Gary O'Neill, the one that kept Bournemouth up and had a lot of good performances with Bournemouth.
Yes.
Now he's been appointed. I think he's very good tactically. I think he's going to do enough just to keep Wolves up. So my team my team to replace Wolves is Bournemouth. I just think Bournemouth's been similar to Everton. They've been flirting with relegation for the last couple seasons. But they have individual quality for me that has kept them up because they've got Semenyo, which I think is a baller from the Championship. Didn't really get a lot of starts last season, but I think he'll come into the fold this year. They also bought that South American guy. You lot might be able to help me out. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but apparently he's supposed to be quite good. Seen some clips of him. He looks like he'll be quite good for them. But I just feel Bournemouth. You know, sometimes when you've just overstayed your welcome, kind of like what Southampton did, where they were here for a long time, they eventually had to go. I think that's going to be Bournemouth this year. So yeah, they're my three. I think it's going to go down.
I'll go with Ends. You go next. Who are your three? I put myself out of the way.
So everything that Rums just said, but I'll take Bournemouth out, and just because I want to see them get relegated. Everton. But in terms of like Luton, them man, they need to go. And word to my boy Savage, bro. Don't want to be going to a stadium where you have to walk through a man's corner. You're walking through a corner shop just to go into the stadium, bro. Like that's long, bro. It's Premier League, bro. I ain't got time to be landing up outside the kebab shop.
Very on mute.
Big up to Savage, bro. This man kills me all the time. But I'll leave Sheffield in there. Are they gonna have enough? I don't know. I said that Brewster might come back and do some bits and pieces, but who knows? And you're right as well. They lost what's his name, Vanderberg or Sanderberg, whatever his name is, to Burnley. I don't rate him, but you know, Savage thinks he's a top baller, and it sounds like Roms, you rate him as well. Or is it Jerry that rate him? I can't remember.
Jerry.
It's
a crazy one.
But yeah, them man there and Everton man there, like what you just said, man. I think these men are overstay their welcome now, bro. Every minute they're flirting with the relegation every year. I don't know, man. We just need someone to tip them over the edge, man. What did they finish? 3 points outside that zone last season? Maybe a couple of points, but hopefully we can get the job done because they don't really have anyone. They've lost Mina, as you guys have stated. Nane is one of my favorite players that they've got. Hopefully that, you know what I mean, they can sell him more. Would you, man, be opposed to getting him in? You know, I know we've been having I don't want to switch the conversation, but as a player, would you, man, be opposed?
I don't know if JJ and G will remember, but we did a show where early in the summer where we picked 3 players. He was one of mine, bro. I've been an admirer of Banana still.
No,
he's a problem, man.
I think he's a good player, but yeah, why not? Sorry, go on, continue.
No, it's all good, bro. Apart from that, I don't think I'm looking at the other teams. Wolves is one of the ones I think we was doing, and we were saying they might go down. I wasn't too sold on it, but I can see it as well. You know, losing their striker, and I don't know what's going on with Adama as well. And then obviously losing Navas to the Saudi League, they lost their captain there. I don't know, maybe, but they might have enough because they've got players that are coming back from injury like Neto and Cole and whatever. But let's see what happens, man. But I think those 3 looks, yeah, man. Luton as well definitely needs to go, bro.
Yeah, at the moment. So listening to everything, I'll depending on what Jerry says in terms of the teams that he chooses, I'll then be a deciding vote at the moment it's between Everton and Bournemouth at this current moment in time. But obviously everyone thinks Sheffield United, Luton Town. I just don't think Luton are going to have enough, to be honest with you. I just think they're not going to. I mean, they're getting Ross Barkley. Let's not forget they got him Ross Barkley. So don't know if that works for them. You know what I mean? He will be the talisman, you know, in that team potentially. Yeah, bro, they got in Ross Barkley on a free.
What, this Donny that went over to France and did shit as well? That done.
He banged in France, man.
No, he did. Nah, he did not bang in France, bro. I don't even think he was even in the top 20 midfielders in the league.
Big up my boy Jerome, but they've also got a striker, my boy's cousin, called Elijah Adebayo. He was at Fulham for years.
Yeah, Adebayo's a good player, man. He bottled the
good player, innit?
Good player though from Fulham. Good player though. Good player.
He's a good player, but JJ, like I was saying, Jerome, don't kill me because I know you watching the streams, but Championship level to Prem, whole different ball game. But that's why I want
don't kill me, you know.
But you know what it is though. But you know what it is though. When you talk about fairy tale stories, you talk about Rocky, yeah. This is where I come in. This is where Luton Town come in. Luton Town never been in the Premier League. You can see the stadiums are washed, yeah. for them to be able to get into the Premier League the way they did, listen, they've got that spirit, you know. And I'm telling you now, right? If they're going down the route of not signing like bare man them, just bare random ballers, they're gonna have that same close-knit community. Now look, they might get relegated, they do. But I wouldn't be surprised if they manage to sneak out of there because they all understand each other and the manager's going to obviously put faith in the players with a couple other additions. Yeah. Me personally, I'm looking at Nottingham Forest. Yeah, the way they ended last season. Yes, they managed to go and scrape through, but they've got rid of. I think Felipe, their centre back's gone, who was their best player towards the end of last season. Their left back's gone as well. Hernan Lodi, he's left. Do you know what I mean? Because he was on loan. They've got a bag of players like flipping Lingard, and do you know what I mean? That they're just not good enough, man. They're not good enough, and I don't think they're going to be able to be as consistent. And I think they got quite lucky last season. I think they got quite lucky because there was a couple other teams that were quite poor. I'm looking at as well at Brentford as well.
Brentford,
I think Brentford as well. I'm gonna narrow it down in a minute. But obviously Brentford as well. Brentford, Ivan Toney's out till January, so they haven't got their main striker. It looks like they're going to let go of Raya as well. So that 2 players from their spine are being removed straight away. That massive to the way they play and the massive leaders in the dressing room. I don't know how that's going to affect them. I'm also looking at Palace as well. Palace is another one that we don't assume they're going to go down, but they've always had consistency in Zaha being there, Vojevic being there. Players that are in and have been and around it, and when they needed to, get a win and get a result, they could go and get it out of them now. Right now, they're going to rely on what Mateta, Eze, and Elise. I don't rate that forward line at all. I'm sorry. I do rate individually Eze and Elise, but to go and rely on them throughout the whole season, especially with that midfield don't look great at the moment with Will Hughes, Decore, and whoever it is, whether it's Eze.
Your boy might light up Palace. I swear, Ratsaki from Charlton. I swear he's
he might do. Ratsaki might, man. He might. But again, we're relying on him to come in onto that right-hand side or left-hand side and do what Zaha did. Zaha guaranteed 10 goals a season. 10 goals a season, no matter what. It didn't matter what striker was scoring it wasn't. So I think there's a few teams that are in there. But look, if I'm going to be deadly honest, look, like Luton Town, look, they're going to be odds on to go down. I think it's quite easy. I think they're they're the team that haven't had that experience. They're the newest team in the Premier League, smallest fan base, but look, that could aid them. Me personally, I'm actually going to go with Forest myself personally over, Bournemouth or Wolves or whoever else that anyone put in there. And I'm going to go Sheffield as well. I think Sheffield, they've got a couple of decent players. I think Ndiaye, isn't it? Ndiaye is up front for them as well.
He went to Marseille. They sold him to Marseille.
Yeah, they sold him to Marseille. I see that.
It's over. Yeah.
JJ, I was with you. If they kept him, baller. Yeah. But they're jogging with Brewster and Jefferson up. Nah.
Yeah, and shout out. Nah, Brewster's washed.
Respect
man.
Brewster, man.
He's washed now. He's washed.
Just in case you're actually watching and that, I'm saying.
Yeah, man. Respect to the man, then, bro.
Good respect to the man, but at the same time, man, I just had such high hopes for you, man. Such high hopes for you, but
yeah, same.
Look at Fab.
All right, people in the chat. What's happened to Fab? Oh, for Fabrizio, I think he's talking about tweeting about thing. Guys, if there's any major news, someone let me know in the chat. We'll bring it up towards the end of the show. So we've got the two people in the chat. We need a third. So we've got Forest. We've got Everton, we've got Bournemouth. I'll chuck Wolves in there. We've got Sheffield United and Luton as the 2 kind of bankers so far. People in the chat, let us know who would be the third team that you guys more or less think would go down. Whilst you guys obviously answering that, I would probably say...
Who you down with, bro?
I'm going to go with Wolves, I just feel like they're going to have one of those kind of funky seasons. Like, they always seem to have one of those, I just don't feel that they have enough goals in their team. And I feel like that's been a major problem for a team like Wolves, recently, especially with Jimenez coming back from that injury and stuff like that. I feel like that will be their downfall. Do you know what I mean? Going into the season is that just not having enough goals. I mean, you've got the nice fancy players, the Netos, what's his name? Podence. Who else have they got in their team actually? Obviously got Mateus Nunes in midfield, you got João Gomez in midfield. Like it's like you've got a Semedo obviously at right back who's okay kind of thing. You've got decent amount of players in other positions, but when we get to that forward line, I feel like you need goals in this league, like you generally do, and I just feel they're not going to be able to get enough. Hence the reason why we're talking about Sheffield United and we're laughing at them saying, bruv, when you got Brewster and such up top, it ain't happening. And that's why I look at Wolves. That's why with the Everton one, I'm like, they're just one of them teams. I just feel like they'll get out of it. Like it's just they just seem to be able to get out of it. How long for? I don't know, but I feel like they'll be able to work themselves up. But out of everyone else, I heard what Jerry said about Palace. They'll have enough. I think they'll have enough, in my personal opinion. I think if they keep Elise and Eze, I think this is the season that we really see them step on. Last season, was it Eze got 10 assists or Elise got 10 assists?
Gee, just to chime in as well, apparently, I know Jayden's not going to like this, and I definitely don't, but they're looking at Jones. They're ready enough a bid for Curtis Jones, Palace. So, boy.
Is that true?
Mandem FC, bro.
Yeah, they really are trying to get them together. Don't be surprised to see Smith Rowe in the cut as well, boy.
Hold on. G, do you think that Elise and Eze alone can go and like score enough goals? Like be like goal scoring wide players. Because I don't see them as goal scoring wide.
But wouldn't they create enough though, bro? Because watching them every season, bro, they look good, man, and they're scoring goals as well.
Yeah, but create for who? Felipe Mateta's dead. Edouard is moving mad. Like their forward line is dead.
I'm with JJ.
You say they need a striker still. Yeah, they need a forward.
Like, everything's on them too. Zaha was the only guaranteed source of goals.
And now, but with Zaha, they relied on him too much. Yeah, they were relying on Zaha too much as well. So having him at the squad, maybe other players might step up and be accounted for.
To have swing that way. But I understand what JJ means because the thing with Palace that I agree, maybe they might not have enough goals, but to know you have that constant, that's going to break double figures every season. It was evidently it was enough for them because Zaha, I don't even know about assists. I'm not even including assists, but Zaha roughly was getting 10 plus goals back-to-back seasons. And I think now they don't have that nailed on player to do that because I think Eze and Elise will be high in the GNA metrics for a Palace team, but that'll be both combined. I think solely goals may not be enough, man. May not be enough.
You guys are saying, so you're thinking Palace now? I don't know, man. I don't know.
I'm not saying Palace, bro. I think what we've got there currently, I'll most likely agree with then adding Palace. But I can understand the reasoning behind why we're choosing Palace. But at the same time, Eze and that can create enough to stay up, man.
Sorry, I have to fly off and do something. This is for the lower to mid-table winner. This ain't for relegation, is it?
It's relegation, bro. 18 to 20.
Still 1-1 because
take back everything I just said, then, bro. I thought this was for the next tier. Sorry, because I have to go.
No. This is what I'm saying. Like, this is to get relegated. That's why when they're saying Palace, I'm like, relegated. Like,
no. Still.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there's all Burnley and, all these kind of things. Marquez obviously saying he would pick Wolves. If I had to pick between Wolves and Notts Forest,
Gibbs White was carrying them, man, their last season as well, bro.
I would still go Wolves. Every time. But obviously, we can change up. Obviously, if anyone disagrees or whatever.
One thing I would say about Forest, though, I hear what JJ was saying. About it looks a bit distorted there. Lingard's gone and whatnot, but I think that front four, that quartet of Elanga, Gibbs White. Who else? Who are the other two that they have? It's Elanga, Gibbs White, Brennan Johnson, and there's a third guy.
Yeah, Johnson.
Anwanini, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think that quartet. I think they'll cause. Put it like this. I think if when we go Forest, they'll cause us problems on the transition. I feel like they're going to cause quite a few teams problems. So I think that'll be enough. If I had to pick a place for Forest to finish, I think they're going to get obviously the next to the 16th, 17th, but I think they'll have enough just to stay up. But I do think it'll be very messy. They'll be one of them yo-yo teams where they might win 2 games on a bounce, then lose their next 4, and it will just be very up and down for them this year. But I think Elanga, coming in with that European experience, but whatnot. I think he could give them something. We're yet to see, but he's gonna, even for himself, he's Sweden international, got released by one of the biggest clubs. He's at, no, I need to show that I can get back to that level. So he's gonna have something to prove. He's gonna have that chip on his shoulder. I think Forest will be all right.
Now we'll leave that last spot, and obviously any spots that we do leave, obviously any clubs that are still left, we'll just throw them in and we'll do a decider. But let's go to the lower to mid table. So that's 13th to 17th. Obviously, we'll work backwards or however you really want to run it. But which teams are you guys putting in this bracket? I'm assuming this is where you're going to put your Palaces and stuff like that into this kind of bracket. If I had to pick, was that 13, 14, 15, 16, 17? If I had to pick those 5 teams, I would say Palace, Forest, Bournemouth, Everton, Burnley. Yeah.
Everyone you said, but swap Burnley with West Ham. So I agree with you.
In my mind, I said West Ham, but okay, cool. I didn't say that.
I don't know what JJ and Ends think, but I actually agree with all of them you said about. I think Burnley are going to surprise a lot of people.
And we're telling me in this kind of bracket here.
I think Burnley will probably finish higher than that. Anyway, Wolves will be there. I think Wolves, Forest, Bournemouth. I think that's probably... How many teams can we go there, Polish? How many teams can we go there?
13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So these 5 teams in that bracket.
Oh, yeah. Now, Wolves... I'll say remove Wolves, man. I think I'll put Bournemouth in that bracket.
Jerry?
West Ham's a tough one. Are we talking on a standpoint if they sell Paqueta? They don't get like Maguire in that. Are we talking from that standpoint? Because their squad is all right at the moment. They've just signed Edison Alvarez in that for the DM. If they get Maguire, that's another centre back. We know he's not that great, but he'll probably score them a lot of set pieces. West Ham, that's the type of team. But if they lose Paqueta,
and
yeah,
do you know what I think it is? I think with or without Paqueta, I think Moyes don't have the fan base on his side. There's even murmurs he could get sacked a week into the season. He's got a very, very rigid system. One thing I will say though, you can laugh at Maguire and McTominay as much as you like. In a Moyes system, I think that works. I think Maguire and McTominay work in a Moyes system, but for me, it's too stale. Whenever he gets, to be fair, he's offloading them in the Scamacas and potentially Paquetas, but when he gets kind of them players that want to express themselves, it just doesn't work for me. So I think the fact he's getting in Moyes type of players, let's just say the British hard-working type players, I think they'll do I think they can do a thing, but I don't think Paqueta staying makes much more of a difference because I think that West Ham team doesn't cater to him, if that makes sense. So I think with or without him, they're pretty much going to finish the same. And that's my view on West Ham.
I like the way Paqueta's just turned things around. Like, Jesus Christ, bro. I looked at this guy and thought, oh, yeah, you're not really. But, yo, he proved me wrong, boy. Turned it around towards the end of the season.
Hey, what did I tell you when I went and saw him live against West Ham, against Liverpool, at the thing? I told you this brother's cold. This brother's cold. I said, grab him. I said, snap him up, man. Snap him up. Anyway, we're here now, man.
We're here. Go on, and who would you kind of put into that? Or who would you take out from this list, if anybody? Or add? Yeah, swap. People in the chat, let me know what you guys think. Well,
I'm not gonna lie. I think Brentford are they're going to be in that relegation lower mid-table battle, man. You can't lose your top striker till January and your main keeper go on loan for 3 M's, and they haven't brought anyone in.
Okay, cool. Okay, let's go with that premise here that you're talking about. That remember, you're not saying one, they've got a fantastic manager, probably a better manager than everybody else who's listed in that list so far, who's on the board. So already they've got manager on their side. They've got better players than, give or take, as a team anyway. I would probably presume everyone bar maybe West Ham or Palace, maybe. And even then, I feel like they'd be tugging it out. Better team, better coaching. It's only till January, so we're not even talking about all season. Tony comes back in Jan, then what happens? Now what are we looking at?
Yeah, but you're expecting him for me. You're expecting him to come in and just be like, boom, 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 and just turn it up. I'm trying to look at this. I'm looking at this. Like, I think Everton finish higher, man. I think Everton, if you look at the side, they win quite smart with it. They're not being silly and signing players, the M's and all of that. And I know they're Everton. I know people won't like it, but I think with Dyche there, Dyche is someone that is very, very solid. They can maximize the most he can get out of players, especially when he's growing and getting his players. We're talking about manager. Like, I think Thomas Frank is really good when he's got his players there. Dyche is the type of manager that even if he ain't got his players, he can still go and turn a tune out of players. And I just think Everton finish higher above Brentford. I think Brentford are going to be in trouble, man. I just think they are. You can't keep going in the Premier League and not invest, not grab any players, and rely on Wissa and what's his name? And Mbeumo to carry you through.
AJ, you know why you got a great point as well? As you're speaking, I'm just deep in it. Tony is the linchpin to them three. They feed off Tony. So without Tony there, that's a very good point. That Brentford attack could just... And you know what? Just to add to it as well, who's to say Tony comes back and doesn't want that big move? Remember, it's a Euro year. He might not want to stay at Brentford. Do you know what I mean? And I can see a big club coming in for him in that January window. So I think JJ's onto something here. JJ's onto something.
No, the thing is, you lose your top striker. Anybody who loses, if Man City were to lose, that's a bad example. If anyone else was to lose,
if Liverpool to lose Nunes, in it, then we'll be in trouble.
That would be a disaster. But listen, we'll finish many places below. These are
look, I'm looking at their signings. Like Danjuma, Ashley Young. Like,
wait, they signed Danjuma?
Yeah, they got him on loan from Villarreal. Yeah. That's it. I mean, obviously, we're looking at this from a point of view of today, but the Premier League starts tomorrow. That's not a team that, I mean, they've let so many players. Obviously, they've got players who are coming back from loan though. That's probably where the key comes. So Moise Keane, he comes back in. Andre Gomez.
Moise Keane's gone. Moise Keane's gone, bro.
Oh, is he gone? Oh, yeah. Shit, I just see an idea for you. So.
Yeah. So at the moment, they've got up front. They've obviously got Dwight McNeil, or as forwards, Dwight McNeil, Calvert-Lewin, Danjuma, Damari Gray, Neil Maupay, Thomas Cannon, and Lewis Dobbin. I think Lewis Dobbin's the striker that played in the under-21s, isn't it, for England? But Andre Gomez, Jean-Philippe Baman, Idrissa Gueye, James Garner, Dele Alli, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, Abdoulaye Doucouré, and Amadou Onana. And then in defence, they've actually got Ashley Young, Vitaly Myolenko, Ben Godfrey, Seamus Coleman, Jared Brathwaite, James Tarkowski, Michael Keane, Mason Holgate, and Nathan Patterson. So, yeah, I just think Dyche is very good at maximising. Do you know what I mean? I think Dyche is the type of manager that he will know that he's prepared for the season. Do you know what I mean? He knows who he's got about them. He wouldn't, like, if he wanted to get rid of someone, he would have got rid of them by now. I think he knows he's going to be able to rely on these players. And I'm not saying they're going to have some worldy season, but I just think if I had to pick a manager to grind out results, I'd pick Dyche over Thomas Frank. I think Thomas Frank, if he's missing key components, he's going to struggle because he plays a bit more expansive, and I think that's understandable. I just don't know how you deal. It's like, imagine Liverpool losing Alisson and flipping Salah and not replacing them. Like, that's just mad. Like, those are massive points. I don't know how you get away that in the Premier League. I just don't know.
And I don't know if you said it was already. Sorry.
No, I think perfectly put, man. But I still don't know if I can land on this Brentford one, man. The Brentford one is still the one. But I get what you mean. Obviously, not having their main man up top, he'll probably want to move when he's back. and then Raya as well going on, like, which is crazy, bro. I don't understand that one at all.
Yeah,
I guess
no.
obviously if Arsenal's coming calling, you know, it's a bigger club than Brentford. But
You know what, Ends?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Raya's been wanting to leave because even in January they've been trying to negotiate a contract with him for the longest, and it's not even a thing where big clubs come in. He just feels he's ready for that next step. So I think when a player don't want to be there, we know how it goes. No,
Is he really ready for that?
He feels himself he is. Do you know what I mean? And you know when a player's not happy, it normally ends one way. But
Listen, who scores more goals, Brentford or Everton? Let me even check last season. Who scored more goals?
Yeah, check that one.
Now, Brentford
more money on Brentford.
Scored more goals.
Because Ivan scored 20 in the Prem, didn't he?
Exactly.
So that's what I feel like. We're rating Everton mad highly. Like their team don't even back.
No, they don't back. We have to understand.
Gunman is gone as well, so yeah, gotta take that into consideration.
That's what I'm saying is that they score a lot of goals, but Tony was a massive point for them. Whether it was set pieces, whether it's
Everton scored 34 goals last season.
Huh?
Everton scored more. Everton scored less goals than they played games. They scored 34 goals last season. That's wow.
Calvert-Lewin was out for the whole time. They're saying they were dead the whole season, and Dak still managed to go and keep them up. I think another season under his belt, I don't think they have that same issue, but I might be wrong. I just think Brentford, I just think Thomas Frank isn't the type of manager that I've seen that can just sit there and grind out results. They've always played good football. Even if it's like a bit more defensive and being on the counter-attack, it's being good football and being brave and wanting to go direct and hitting the channels. You can't do that if you haven't got a target, man. So unless they bring someone in at this point in time, I just don't see it.
The only thing that worries me, JJ, is, and this was evident even when he was at Burnley, say what you want about Dak, he implements a certain style that works for him. Remember, he even did that coach's voice video and how efficient the kind of tree formation is for him. My only worry with Dak is, JJ, his away form, it's never really been there, even at Burnley. But I do agree with you. I think Everton, the reason why their fans had a mad season, let's say the last 2 seasons, because their home form wasn't even good. One thing I think improves dramatically this season, I think Dak gets a lot of points at Goodison this season. I think he actually makes that not a fortress, but they're going to be tougher to beat. But it's still their away form. I can see them still being poor on the travels. This is why I think even Brentford without a Tony, this is a very good debate between them two, but I still think Brentford without a Tony, Thomas Frank will still be hard to beat away from home as well as at home. Whereas Everton, I think, will only be hard to beat at Goodison. It's a very good debate, you know. Like
I said, if I'm by myself, I don't mind it, innit? Like, it's not that deep, whether it's Everton or Brentford, innit? I'm just saying, in my opinion, I just think Brentford are going to suffer a lot because they've relied on that cohesion of that front line and the spine of the team being there since they've been in the Premier League. As soon as you remove that, we don't know what's going to happen. Whereas, you know, with Everton, it's been chop and change so much. Yet they're still alive. They're still alive and kicking. That's what makes me think, you know what? They're going to have to kick on one time or another. Otherwise, they're going to be gone, man. They're going to be gone. I just think Dyche is the one to do it. I really rate Dyche.
All right, we'll go through this then. Do we agree West Ham should be in this bracket?
Yeah.
Do we all agree West Ham? All right. Do we agree Crystal Palace should be in this?
Yeah.
Reluctantly, but yeah.
It is. I'm looking at it, yeah, and I know I was saying that they might get relegated, yeah. But for me, if they're not in that position, they might be higher. Maybe Wolves are in there because Wolves are in the. They haven't signed anyone, and they got rid of their top players as well. And they've got Gary O'Neill, who I just think is, I don't know. I know he done well with Bournemouth, but he's moist, man.
But you know, I haven't heard someone say moist in time,
bro. It's really around. Bear man that could just kept using the road. That man's moist. I'm like,
bro, all the time, bro. All the time. I'm like, I'm not using the wrong context.
I feel we should probably. Would we all agree Wolves probably will be in the bottom 3 now? Because after some thinking, I originally had Bournemouth there, but
this is what I
remember. They have stingy owners. So O'Neill probably won't even be able to get all the players he wants in. They've got stingy owners. That's why Lopetegui left. So
yeah.
I think Wolves probably will get relegated, you know.
Yeah, so if Wolves there, then yeah, I don't mind putting.
Throw Wolves in there. Throw them in there.
Into this 13-17
relegation. Nathan Collins has gone to Brentford as well. They've got rid of loads of the good players. So yeah, man.
All right, so we still need one more team for this then. Are we in agreement that Bournemouth is going to be in this bracket as well? By the way, before I even move on.
No, I think we should put in there. I think Liverpool, man. I think they're just going to be. I'm joking.
Bro, what? Bro. Oh
I'm
shit!
joking.
Nearly had me there. Just nearly had me.
Who's left? I feel like I'm going blind, bro.
Think about cool. Looking at these teams who are available here. Remember, this is the 13th to 17th. We haven't put them in correct position, but
throw Fulham in there.
I forgot about Fulham as well. Fulham, yeah, I didn't even look at him.
With that injury to Paulina, I looked at the guy's stats last season in terms of tackles and interception. Jesus Christ, he was doing a lot of work in their midfield. And obviously, he got that dislocated. Is it a dislocated shoulder he had, or was it?
Yeah, that's calm. That's comfy, man. He'll be back in a couple of weeks, man. You firm that, bro.
Dislocate your shoulder and then sing there and see how long you come from.
I said you firm that.
Dislocate my shoulder, bro. I've done that before. I was back in like a month, bro. It's calm. You firm it, wrap it up, tape it up.
By then times, bro, they could be 17, bro, because they're missing him in the midfield.
You know what?
They got realism. Come on, man. We can't just do this willy-nilly, bro. Like, this is a proper thing. So, man, just be throwing, man.
He's in. Nah, I reckon. I think they will be.
What are we saying? Burnley are going to be higher.
This is what I'm saying. Are we like? We got to remember higher, bro. Are we putting them higher?
I'm putting Burnley higher, bro.
Okay, no,
I'm saying with chest, they might have balling out, bro. What?
Yeah. no, they're balling out, but you know what? Wigan were balling out like Figueroa and them, man, but they're still getting slapped up.
Man, it's not the same, bro. It's not the same.
You don't know that, bro. I'm not gonna lie. Like I think Sander Berge will
be clean,
but that's about it, man. That's about
it. Look, your guy you rate is now in that team that was balling out. So then respect them, bro.
No, I'm respecting them. That's why I think they'll be low in mid-table. I think if they finish 13th next season, no one's saying raw like they're about a poor season. It'll be a good season.
Okay, cool. Why don't we go
12th place? They're literally my 12th.
Why don't we go through in terms of the teams there? Yeah, does Burnley play better football than all them teams in those 5 there?
Yeah, but better football ends don't translate to better results. This is what I'm.
But we're speculating, bro. We don't know it's for sure. We're saying on a football and go head to head with these man. Do you think Burnley can beat these man?
I think Fulham are on their wavelength. Yeah, I agree with Ish. Fulham out Burnley in 100%. 100%. Are we thinking how
Fulham are going to be higher?
Huh?
Is Mitrovic still there?
Bro, no, this guy said they don't want to play for them, man. They're Momo.
Yeah,
they're not scoring. They're definitely not scoring. They're definitely
but Mitrovic is still there. Remember, Mitrovic got that ban. Don't you remember? You got that mad ban.
Yeah,
and they still got results, bro. They still got results.
Yeah, but that was coming off the back of momentum after they've done so at the start, bro. Now we're talking about a fresh start. Let's go again.
Yeah, but then what are we saying? We're saying that in the Championship, a Vincent Kompany team are going to do better. They're going to finish higher mid-table. First season out the blocks.
I see these men go toe-to-toe Man City, bro. That's all I'm saying, innit?
Didn't Sheffield do a similar thing? Sheffield did a similar thing their first season, I swear. They finished
Tried to sell it, bro. Tried to sell it.
Toe-to-toe, you know.
Tried to sell it, bro.
Jimenez is at Fulham.
Yeah, no, Mitrovic hasn't gone yet. But they've actually signed Jimenez as well. They actually signed him
his debut as well.
Yeah, exactly. So Jimenez will be like new, like he's a similar type of player. And I know he might not score goals, but if they get the other midfielders and other forwards like Bobby the Cordova Reed and them, man, then Yard, man. Yeah, man.
What about words? Is it G that said the bozo gene? So G, does Jimenez have the bozo gene, bro? Because
no, he doesn't have a bozo gene. No. Bozo gene, that's all.
No, I was asking, bro, because he looks like one of those guys.
No, Ed, you're deep, man. You're deep. Just stop.
But he's got the that Peter Cech gene. That's what he got. He got a Peter Cech thing.
Listen,
man, come back from mad injuries, brother, and they're just.
So you're saying he became a bozo. Like you weren't before.
No, I didn't. Nah, that's not what
I'm
I said.
asking. I'm trying to understand it.
I'm just saying he looks like one of those players because even then he was only scoring from what's his name? I'm sure Adama down the line just crossing the ball in. That's how
he was techie as well. I remember him nuts in
bro. Nah, you weren't techie, bro. You weren't techie. You was slow as shit.
Jimenez weren't techie. Jimenez was techie, man.
All I saw was crosses in the box. This guy was scoring headers. Now he doesn't have that ability. So then what we saying?
To be fair, his powers do look like they have gone. I can't lie. Like he is just a shadow of himself right now.
They do, man. But for 5 million, that's what I'm saying. Shout out to Neil Gunner, yeah. For 5 mils, it could be like I'm a link-up man, and he could get other man involved. Hold it, but did I'm not sure, yeah. But did Fulham not sign Sulemana? Did Fulham not sign Sulemana from Southampton?
I'm not too sure.
Let me check.
Yes, I think they did. I think they did. Ish, you're tapped for that one.
Hold on,
I don't see it here, but this is just transfer market. I don't know if it's updated or not. Oh, okay. Look, so I'm looking at yeah, I was just about to say.
Calvin Bassey, they've got Tosin Adarabioyo and Babu Issa Diop as well. We know Anthony Robinson, I rate. Terence Congolo is back. Harrison Reed, Tom Kearney, Andres Pereira, Ja Painho, we know. Sasha Lukic, Tyrese Francois, Luke Harris.
No.
These man got some mad names in their team, bro.
Yeah,
I thought they're trying to smell them things there, boy.
They got Rodrigo Muniz. They got Rodrigo Muniz. They got Carlos Vinicius. Oh snap! They got Jay Stansfield. Big up to Jay Stansfield. Oh shit! All right. They got Bobby Decodover-Reid and Alexander Mitrovic and Harry Wilson. So yeah, they got a similar type of team. Well, I'm saying, just looking at that, I've got a lot of goals in is it League One? I know it's League One, but I know he's young. I think he's at 20, but he got a lot of goals. Like, I think I think there was actually a report on him because I think his dad died when he was born, and he done the same thing as that. He broke his dad's record in that League One or League Two. Or
my condolences to him, man. Again, looking at that, I would probably have to replace Burnley with Fulham because I feel like as good as Burnley will play, again, you know what I'll do is this. I said I'll do it before. Because I guess once we start moving up, then we can start really weeding out. But I'm assuming, for argument's sake, these 4 can stay here.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, let's move up to the next one. All right, now we've got 8 to 12. So what's that? 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's 5 teams in there. Straight away, I would probably be putting in Fulham if we're leaving them out of this lower mid-table. That'll be one of my picks to go in there.
Palace,
yes.
Everton.
Who?
Everton.
Well,
I said Everton.
Brother, then you know what I was like, for what?
and Burnley.
And Burnley, yeah.
You got one more in it?
Yes, sir. Bear in mind, look at the teams who are left. So
Brighton, man.
You think Brighton going to come between 8th and 12th?
Yeah.
We ain't putting them in position, but I'm just saying that you think they'll be in that kind of.
I think they might be like 8th or 9th. I think they'll still be top half of the table, but I think you can't lose the likes of McAllister. I mean, looking at Caicedo might move and still and
tonight,
not have a knock-on effect.
I've got a slight difference in opinion.
Go on.
I think, and I've been saying this on a few of my other predictions, I think Spurs finish 8th. I genuinely think Spurs.
That was kind of matched out as well.
What, if Kane stays, though? If Kane stays, you're saying
even if Kane stays, because
look at the teams who are left. Look at the teams who are left. Do you think? Can you see Spurs finishing above any of these teams here?
Hey, it's Ainsley's ball, man. Let's see, man. Kane in there. I don't know, bro.
Wait,
they're an unpredictable team, bro.
When you say the teams left, obviously you mean the teams that aren't in the grid yet.
Yeah. The teams that are not in the grid.
I genuinely can't. I think the other
maybe Newcastle.
I would say Spurs would probably, if Harry Kane stays, I think Spurs will probably finish above Newcastle.
You think so? You don't think Newcastle got enough in their tank to be able to?
They drew a lot of games last season, bro. It's like we're talking about that they were just on this amazing win streak. They just drew a lot of games they were losing, a lot of games they had to come back from, and a lot of games they threw away points in. teams will figure out. They can't play the same way going next season, so they're going to have to change the way they play.
Especially being
Newcastle only lost. Look,
Newcastle. I think they might lose a couple. So I hear that.
Okay, they drew them second.
Definitely drew the most, bro. Definitely. Who drew this?
Brentford. They both drew 14 games last season. Newcastle won 19, same as Liverpool, which is funny. And they only lost 5 games. People saying Spurs are going to cook with Thing. Why all of a sudden now does everyone think Spurs will cook? This is the bit I don't really understand. Like,
stop saying everyone, G, man. Not everyone said it, bro. Shit, man.
I mean, sorry, everyone in the chat. I'm seeing people say, Ish is obviously saying Spurs are going to cook if Kane stays, blah, blah, blah. If Angel 1968, Abel, if Kane stays, yes. Basuma, Bentancur, Kane, Son. They've had these
Maddison
same guys
as well, bro. But they've added Maddison now, bro. Maddison in there. And remember, Bentancur got injured as well, bro, when he was scoring a lot of goals for them.
You know what as well? Okay. They got that brother from Fulham, innit? What's his name, man? You slapping things in. What's his name? You're on mute, Roms. You're on mute. Solomon. That brother. Solomon was slapping things in. So like, you know what? Yeah, cool. Like, you see Ange, yeah. Man, not rating Big Ange, yeah. But you see Big Ange.
No.
I think that's where you want to really introduce him, though, Jay.
Huh?
I don't know if that's the way you want to introduce him as well.
Big Ange, is this how man's minds are moving? Yeah.
Hey, listen, bro.
Just saying. I'm having to pause.
Yeah, I'm just.
Is that the wavelength you're on?
All I'm trying to do, because I know how the spaces are, bro. Man, we'll just clip it and then say you said something else. I'm just trying to look out for you, bro. That's all it is, bro.
No, you're not. Unpause that. Play it. Big Ange, yeah. See Big Ange? I'm rating.
But anyway, you're the one saying it, boy. I'm not part of. You can't see me in this thing anyway, so I'm good.
You told me Big Ange, you're rating his thing. You said you're rating.
Man's not rating anything about Big Ange that's not football related, bro. Like, that's all.
Football related. I'm talking about football, bro. Right. Anyway, but Ange, yeah, I think Ange is. I like his personality, you know, and I think he's the type of brother that he'll get like Richarlison playing well, he'll get Solomon playing well, and I don't think they're going to go and get in the top 4, but I think they'll do better than. Like, so
the same players. I'm not trying to. I'm just trying to. I want everyone to be able to get me to this point of where they think all of a sudden Spurs do. Jose Mourinho, Antonio Conte, who are better managers than Ange, cannot get a tune out of these same players. Now we think that because they got a new manager, we think things are just going to be refreshed a bit.
Oh, go on, Jay. Okay, cool.
Mickey, go on.
No. Do you know what it is, bro? I think under those managers that you just mentioned, there's a lot of pressure when it comes to like a Mourinho, the Contes. They have to go and win stuff. So when these players are like the pressure that these men were put under, no, we have to be this. With Ainge coming in, he's like that Klopp vibe. You know what I mean? He wants to bring everyone together. He wants to make sure that all the players are happy in their own way, and he's trying to build a style of play to get the fans on board, because the Tottenham fans ain't been on board with their side for ages now. Apart from when Poch was there, that's when it was like a synergy between the manager, the fan base, the players, and then that's when they were just cooking up their teams and they were playing exciting football. And I think with this guy, that's the vibe he's bringing. He wants to bring, the fan base back on side. He wants to get quality players that can change games in different ways. Like Solomon, he's not a mad player, but in a moment he comes on, he's rapid, he's skillful, he's unpredictable. He could score a good goal as well. Those type of players, and if they can keep their main man that scored 30 goals in the Prem last season, but no one's saying nothing about that because obviously Haaland was here cooking up the whole league. But this man scored 30 goals in a Tottenham team that weren't doing great. So if they can keep him, added Maddison to that, added Solomon to that, get Bentancur back fit, and then sort the defense out. They got that Mickey van der Beek that they want to get in. Yeah, get him in, and then new goalkeeper as well. Yeah, quality. Go on, bro.
And what's his name? Jed Spence as well. They've got players like that didn't get a sniff. Jed Spence is now going to come into the fold. It's a different team with a different mentality now. Because you're looking the likes of like Lo Celso and them man as well coming into the fold. It's like a new start. And I know we say it a lot when we banned Liverpool when they say it.
Then Dombele is still there.
Huh?
Is Ndombele still there?
Yeah.
He's gone now. I swear he's been sold, ain't he?
Oh, he got sold.
He's in maybe one of them Turkish teams, bro. Double check it, but I'm sure I see this man rocking up with one of them squads.
No, he plays for Tottenham still. You know,
he's still there.
Yeah. Because he came back. I saw it in training. Him and Basuma were doing like keepy uppies in the training.
Oh, okay.
And I saw another report that Ange has faith in him and wants to see.
Long.
So all I'm saying is they've got decent components, and I'm not gonna lie. If I looked over to Tottenham and someone said, let's just swap the midfields, I'd even do that. I think Liverpool midfield is terrible. So
all right. Okay, cool. So for argument's sake then, because remember, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, we still have got one place that we need to put into that lower mid-table. And are you guys, what are we doing then about this higher mid-table? This is what I'm saying. This is where we have to start looking at it now, because now it's a bit like, are we moving people around before we get obviously into the big top 6 or whatever? Are we moving people around? Are we?
I'd drop Burnley or Palace down, maybe even Everton, one of those 3, and I'd put Aston Villa up in higher mid.
I actually think they'll be higher than that, bro.
You think they'll be?
This is interesting because I've got that.
I think they'll be higher.
Yeah, so we're gonna leave Aston Villa. So all right, between Burnley, Everton and Palace, everyone just pick one team.
Hold on, do you know what? Bendia got an ACL as well, and he was cooking in pre-season. So
that's why they're looking at he moved to Galatasaray from Roma. Someone please help me out. Begins with
Zaniolo.
Are they trying to get Zaniolo?
He's another one that's had 2 ACLs. I think on either knee as well. So,
bro, he's
a baller,
still good, bro. Like, he's a
baller. He is a baller.
Oh, this manager's winding me up, bro.
If I had to pick out of them 3, I think JD hit the nail on the head. When I thought we'll speak about low to mid, but we'll actually speak about relegation. But I just don't see enough goals in Palace, man. I think Everton and Burnley might just have enough. I would personally, I'll drop Palace to lower mid-table. But I think they finished the highest out of that category, so they finished literally 13th.
All right, ends out of Everton, Palace, and Burnley.
I'm dropping Everton out if I had to choose one. I don't see them. Okay. Yeah, I don't see them doing anything.
Jerry, I bet you guys are going to pick 3 the same, like the 3 different.
Palace, yeah.
All right, 2 for Palace, and I would go with. The thing is, I don't even want to be difficult, but I would actually go with Everton.
Appreciate it, bro. At least we, you know what I mean?
If I had to look at it, they're the ones who I'm looking at thinking, bruv, they are not good. Like, Daesh, I think, is dead. And I just don't see how.
God.
Daesh ain't dead, though.
He is dead,
we have to deal with this man's coarse voice the whole season now. This man that needs a lozenge, we got to deal with him all season again.
I said it's coarse.
And I think we looked at his time at Burnley, and obviously we were like, oh yeah, he kept them up for whatever, did all of that under this budget and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Like, I'll be honest, I feel like he did what I expected Burnley to do every single season. I never really looked at them.
That's nonsense, man. What you expected Burnley to be in the position they were in when they were getting nobody. When it's signing that.
What did Burnley do? What did Burnley do that was amazing? They never got into Europe. They never didn't they just stayed up.
But they spent the least in the league by far.
Okay, that's fine.
At the lowest wage bill, and they were getting mid-table.
That's fine. That's as in this is not Luton. Remember, you're not talking about Luton players coming up. That is a massive difference in comparison to Burnley.
But it was a similar thing, though. It was a similar thing when they came through. Like Burnley were nobody.
No. Burnley had enough decent enough players. Let's put it this way: the caliber of players that Burnley had in comparison to Luton. Yeah, I expect Luton to go down because 1, obviously money, and 2, the type of players that you've got are like, with no disrespect to Luton players, big up anyone who's watching, but they're that quality of player. Nah, that can't run here. Yeah, Burnley have players who are decent enough to still be able to stay in the league at the bare minimum.
I disagree. When I looked at Burnley team, I remember watching like Monday Night Football, and every single one of them were like Burnley are dropping. They're like Daesh done amazing in the thing, had the lowest wage bill in the championship. They've come up and look, they're gonna struggle. And they've done this, and they've done the same thing. He was able to keep them up for such a sustained period of time. And I think the fact that he was able to go and keep Everton up as well, and we know Everton were in the mud. Everton were in the mud. Let's not get it twisted. They brought him in when they were in the relegation zone, and he kept them up again. He's in that mold of like a, do you know what I mean? Like he don't die. He's that cockroach that don't die. Right now, I don't know. Roy Hodgson now, he's getting older. Zaha's not there. The man them are falling apart. A couple men have gone bin and that. The gang's not the same anymore. Do you know what I mean? The gang's not the same. So I don't know, man. I don't know. Big up. I can't believe you're not rating Daesh, bro. I need to send you some clips, bro. Some coach's voice.
Man, I don't want to see no clips of Daesh, man. I don't want to see that kind of football, bro.
You right now.
Not saying that he's got Jamaican family and that. Bun this guy, man. Get rid of Everton, man. Nah, get rid of Daesh, man, and get Everton in the relegation. Just get them out, bro.
I'm gonna put both of these two teams here, and obviously once we go up,
what's the beef for the Mandem, bro? Mandem FC. Let's leave them up.
I don't really understand. 2017-18, they came 7th. That was big. Yeah, because they had a decent enough team. That's what I'm saying. Like super trash team. Like clearly they came 7th, bro.
No, but their team was washed. It was absolutely washed.
Jerry, you know what year was that? 17-18. Let me go flip it. Look at the 17-18.
Come on, go. Reel off that team. I swear to God. The Luton team, even you got a couple like, you know, the Luton team, you got a couple like academy gems. Like Elijah was a guy in the academy, innit? Like he scored goals. Bro, that Burnley team was a bunch of rejects, and just like it was a Brexit team. It was like a Sunday League team on steroids. Come on, man. Let's not do this, man. Nah,
we're gonna look at this together, my bro.
Yeah, let's go, man.
When Luton ain't won a game in the Prem, bro, I'll definitely be DMing you, bro.
Yeah, DM me, man. That's my club. I got the badge on my chest. Like that.
So this was the 17-18 season, yeah? Everyone, let me just zoom in a bit.
JJ, he was
there finished above Leicester, bro. Leicester. Palace.
So hold on. Just remember the time that you're talking about. Remember the time that you are talking about. Yeah. Look at these teams that there was so forget the bottom three because I remember them being super duper shit. Everyone else, I'm looking at that. They all fall. Bro, the points on like what? Other than say it's from Everton to Brighton, it's 9-point difference. So they're more or less all in the same bracket anyway. So again, it's the same type of team.
Use points as a barometer of like, yeah, this is what happened because every season is different. I'm saying that season they finished 7th, bro. They finished what? Above Everton, above Leicester, above Newcastle, above Palace, above Bournemouth, above West Ham, above Watford. Watford were spending peas. West Ham were spending peas. Bournemouth were even spending, bro.
Oh, you're saying if they could have turned a couple of them draws as well, bro, they could have finished above Arsenal now as well.
Exactly. Hold on. Let's see at the Burnley team, yeah? Burnley, what, 17-18?
Who's in the team?
Let's go. Burnley, 17-18.
I was just going to show you.
Yeah, I got it here. Hold on.
Okay, cool.
I'll bring it up now, yeah? I'm gonna read it off. So they had Nick Pope in goal. They had Tom Heaton. They had James Tarkowski, Ben Mee, who's obviously they were good. That Charlie Taylor, Stephen Ward, Matthew Lowton, Phil Bardsley, Jack Cork, Ashley Westwood, Jeff Hendrick, Scott Arfield, Robbie Brady, Dwight McNeil.
All I heard is ballers, bro. That's all I'm hearing.
Goodmanson, yeah, ballers, bro. Oh, Jonathan Walters, Stoke legend, Chris Wood, Ashley Barnes, Sam Vokes, and Naki Bloody Wells, bro. Let's not do this, man.
Barnes and Woods caused bare problems for us.
Bro, you know you forgot that they were causing issues.
Bro, they caused problems in a way where they never scored goals, bro. They never got past 10 goals. None of them, bro.
Again, that's what I'm saying. But we're like, am I expecting them to do that? No, because they're not those type of strikers. So I'm not looking at them thinking, yeah, I need you, man, to get 15 goals. Bro, they're not going to score 15 goals in the Prem. That ain't happening.
Yeah, they're not meant to score 15 goals. But if you can't score, right? If you
but they finished 7th. So how did they finish 7th then?
You just spoke about Everton and said the reason why we've had Everton lower is because they only scored, 37 goals in like 38 games played, right? Burnley weren't scoring goals. Like, that was their problem. They didn't score goals. They were able to just sneak in a 1-0 thing, get a draw here, get a draw that way. And doing that, they were able to go and achieve 7th. with a manager when they had no investment. Like no money was being. They were getting man on free.
Defensively, they were absolutely fantastic.
Yes, due to the manager. That's my point. It wasn't like it was individual. They were playing high expansive. And man was doing recovery runs. Everything was just a low block, and we're going to sit back every single game and defend. That's why I rate Dash more in those sticky situations than when we're talking about Thomas Frank, because defensively, he's just a better manager. Gee, man, I need to get you that Burnley training kit, man. I need to take you to that game.
Well, I'm looking at Burnley anyway. All right, cool. So we'll come back to these other teams. Well, we're not. Where's Palace going? Are we not keeping them in the lower mid? Are we keeping them higher mid? Was that going to be decided later? How do you guys want to play that?
Higher mid.
Yeah, higher mid for Palace.
We'll leave them there. All right, let's get to the 7th place position. See, guys, this is what I'm saying. Here I thought, yeah, man, you know what? The stream won't even be too long, you know what I'm trying to say? But these times we've only now still got up to these other teams to worry about. Who's finishing in the Europa Conference League then? Bearing in mind, we can't decide on Everton. Unless you want to put them higher mid as well.
No, my 7th. Oh, my 7th was Newcastle. Yeah.
Newcastle.
See, this is like ends my guy. 7th was Newcastle for me still.
That was easy.
Is they high? What's the other one? Europa League, so Conference Newcastle. Yeah, they got the Champions League to worry about. Yes, they have bought some good players and they bought Premier League players, but at the same time, are these men going to be able to run Champions League, Premier League?
I don't
know, man.
Are they going to do that? Because I don't know, man. Because playing, they weren't used to that last season. They could only just concentrate purely on the Premier League, and that's why they did all right.
I think the only way they break into the top 6 again is if they drop out of European competition altogether. So they finish 4th in their group. Because I think even if they finish 3rd and they join us, I think that's too much for them. And that's what Jerry was saying earlier. They're actually building in a smart way. They're not doing the Man City remit where it was Robinho's and it was your Adebayor straight away. They're not going for the star players. They're building straight. But that's why I think the drop off will be, I'm not going to say immense, but I can see them having a worse season, man. I think they finished 7th. And you know what? For Newcastle fans, I don't think they'll be too fussed anyway because they overachieved the season. I feel like they were this position 7th. I feel like they were expecting to finish this position. The season just gone. So the fact they're finishing, in my opinion, they'll finish this position in this season. They'll kind of look at it like this is kind of where we should be anyway because they overachieved last year. But I have them 7th. I don't know about G and JJ, but yeah, I'm with Ends.
I have Spurs 7th.
Same.
I think Newcastle finished in Europa League.
Same. I think they finished 6th.
Yeah, same. That's why I had them.
Right, did I get outvoted? Wait, Ends, where did you have Spurs?
I haven't put Spurs in yet, but yeah, that's with Newcastle wise, we're there. I don't know, man, because G keeps taking teams out, man. I don't know. So
I had Spurs 8th.
But you man are trying to tell me about Everton and them, man, and Burnley's and
corrupt, man. Bro, he's corrupt.
No.
This is an African league.
JJ, G's that type of guy. If you're playing Ludo with him, when you go to the toilet, he's moving the violence. That's what G's.
You're playing blackjack. A man's being like, oh, sorry, oh shit, my girl called me. And he's like this, and he's zooming in to the camera to see.
No. Ludo, I hear what you're saying. But blackjack, nah. one day we got to play that. We got to play that.
So you're admitting you're like that, Ludo. So if I come back, like, no, my counter was there, bro. I already had a 2-man home. You're like, no, G,
like no VAR as well. You have to just agree to disagree.
Yeah, G's moving like the Ghana FA. You're paying for electricity, you just don't even turn up, bro. You know like that. Floodlights just cut off at 89th minute.
You men are pagans, anyways, man. Anyways,
I have pagans in a long time.
When you said moist, I said let me bring back some of the slang for the people that are out there. So obviously, Enz, you're saying Newcastle in 7th. Roms, you're saying Newcastle in 7th. Me and Jerry are saying Spurs are gonna be in 7th. Guys, let us know in the chat, please. Spurs or Newcastle in 7th position. Let us know. And obviously, everyone just have a think in regards to your 5th and 6th places. Obviously, this Everton thing is actually bugging, man, big time. Like, it's actually irritating me. because I have Everton in the lower mid, but man are saying higher mid. So it really just kind of depends. And they're gonna, oh, bloody hell, why would two people say two different things?
No, I'm having a look. I've got a screenshot of the one that we did the other day, me and Savage. So
yeah, go on. Where did you?
No. We'll, when we're done this one, then I'll compare it and see how far off. But cool. But nah, man, Newcastle, bro. I can't see them, because I'm looking. Are they going to turn all them draws into wins? That's the question.
I just think they have enough going. Okay, you make a good point. To be fair, but I do think that they have enough.
Wilson score as many that he scored last season? I don't know, because that's a massive reliance on, like, Tonali coming into the midfield thinking he's going to do what he did. There's that Guimaraes. He's saying that maybe he wants to move on. There's clubs that looking for him as well. I don't know, man.
They got my two borders there. I don't know if you don't rate them, but you see Gordon and Barnes. I've been rating the pair of them.
Gordon, no Barnes, yeah. Gordon, I don't see anything with that. Like I'm awaiting to see something.
You're like Ish. I don't think Ish rates Gordon as well. For me, this sound right. Pause when I say this, but I'm a sucker for tech, man. Like, man, let's have tech. I automatically.
Listen, pause.
That's what I said pause before, but if you got tech, like, I just think you're a baller. Oh, man.
Hold on. Who's got tech between Harvey Barnes and Thing?
For me, Gordon.
Harvey Barnes has tech, but I don't know about Gordon, though. Gordon's a bit of
a hey, listen, word to Savage.
What are we talking about? Because that man looks stiff as...
word to Savage, man. These men running straight lines, bro.
Bro. Real talk, they're running straight lines.
Barnes has got a bit of a jink.
Yes, the stiffest drink you've ever seen in your life. Like the stiffest.
The guy has no end. The guy has no end product, bro. Every minute he just runs down. Big
man thing is, what tech are these men talking about? I've never seen these men with tech in my life.
Bro, for me, Gordon, he's got a good touch. I think he can carry the ball well. I've seen him control it from.
Agreed. No, I agree.
I think Gordon. I think both of them are dope, innit? But I know more people side with Barnes than a Gordon. But I do feel that's also because Barnes has been playing at the highest level a bit longer. We've seen him single-handedly for Leicester destroy teams, us being one of them. I've seen him destroy United. I've seen him do it in the big games where I understand that point of view, G, where we're yet to see that from a... I thought it was the next big thing, Demo, about being real. When we signed him, I was like, what, the Moroccan Messi?
To be fair, though, he was cold, though, man. He was techie still, but he never got the opportunity, so... Yeah. Never got the role, man. Script was written, he just didn't.
Nunes isn't one of them ish. Nunes texts clear of Barnes. I don't know. You know what I
mean? Just a question, yeah. Do we think Damari Gray has more tech than Harvey Barnes?
100%.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So that's the type. So the reason why I asked that is because that's the type of tech that I was talking about. But we're talking about Harvey Barnes and that. Harvey Barnes is more effective than Damari Gray, 100%.
You know what? Yeah? You know what? It depends how you measure technique. A lot of people,
and that's why I'm asking. Like, to me, them man don't have the tech that I would associate with Damari Gray when I see him play.
Yeah, you see me. Yeah, you see Damari Gray. He's got tech in terms of like his
good dribbler.
Yeah, like good dribbler and stuff. But I think with Harvey Barnes, his tech is like, if you look at like some of his passes and stuff, they're very like textbook. And you're looking at tech. I think that's what's got him through there. I remember like.
So he's effective.
No, he's effective, but he's not like, he don't look like, when like sometimes Salah's stumbling over the ball and that. He don't look like that. Like he's not like that. He's more of in the mode of like a march than a Salah.
Salah's more technical. Yeah, Salah's more technical than them.
See, I don't look at tech like that.
No. I'm not saying Salah's the most technical guy, but if I had to pick between, in terms of just technical ability, forget what they do. Salah is light years ahead of Harvey Barnes in technical ability. Like light years.
See, I don't think so. I just think Salah's mad effective, bro. See,
does he? Okay, Jay. Does he need to add a step over? Does he need to add a step over? Is that what?
Because I'm not saying
what it
Harvey
sounds
Barnes,
like, bro.
No, but I'm not saying Harvey Barnes does step overs. But when you're running with the ball and the ball's stumbling and it's hitting your knees and that, but you're keeping the ball somehow.
But Jerry, we've seen Salah with the dribble.
Don't dribble like that, bro.
Salah don't dribble like
that. Let's not do this. We've seen Salah with the dribble.
I'm not man do ball roll, drag back.
Jay,
that's what it is.
You know I'm with you on this, man. I know exactly what you mean, bro.
I'm telling you now. If Salah wasn't effective, he'd have the same treatment he had at Chelsea, bro. Like he didn't like he couldn't do it. Like if he
was still technical at Chelsea, just was not effective. That's literally what he wasn't.
Guys in the chat, do you agree
with Jay?
Nah, guys in the chat, do you agree with this wild statement, bro? Because
hold on, you man think Salah's a techie baller?
What, he's bouncing off his knee and his shin.
We're discussing between him. We're discussing between him and Harvey Barnes. You're trying to say Harvey Barnes is probably equal or more so than Fink.
No, I'll use an example.
Ish hits the nail on the head. His last comment.
So don't you have to? But any good dribbler has quick feet, bro. So that doesn't make sense.
There's a different variant though. Like
so man just there standing there shaking his foot. That's the difference.
It's like Berbatov.
No, bro, come on, make it
up. Goal, bro.
They get. I'm not taking away his goals from him.
No. Okay, the lead up to his goals that we've seen in these games, like, brother, Harvey Barnes is not doing it. I've
seen Andre Ayew do a madness, bro. I've seen Andre Ayew do a madness.
But Andre Ayew is techie. We're not talking about how good the player is. I'm just talking purely. Forget the player. I don't care about the player. We know Salah's way better. I'm just talking about the technical ability of this individual. I'm not comparing the play. I wouldn't do that because Harvey Barnes is effective. That's why I would say he's that's why I said to you, who do you think is more technical, Damari Gray or Harvey Barnes? Everyone said Damari Gray. Guess who's more effective? Harvey Barnes. Every day of the week, not even close. But you would still say Harvey Barnes is obviously more effective, but he's not more technical than Damari Gray. No way, not even close.
I don't know.
Okay, man. Can I ask a quick question? Hopefully, it doesn't go off topic. Just a
quick
one. You guys rate Suarez's dribbling? Would you say in your words Suarez is a techie dribbler?
No, I wouldn't say he's a techie dribbler.
No, I don't think he's a techie dribbler.
Do you think he's a better dribbler than, say, Salah?
100%.
But
I don't know. I feel like they're both the same. I don't feel like Suarez is that good at dribbling.
Salah, again, for Salah is maybe in that same mold. He's much better. He's a much better dribbler than Suarez, than Salah. Sorry, much dribbler. But he's again in that mold where it's like, the ball does this, it comes off his knee, but then he chops it in and it goes through your leg somehow. And you're like, and then he's gone and slapped it in. He's not a dribbler like a flipping.
He's not eloquent with it. Like
he's not like who can I use? I'm trying to find someone. Denilson. You see a great example. You see Denilson, Brazilian Denilson, back in like with Sporting in them, man. Denilson's what you call a flipping dribbler. Where man's like, it don't matter where the ball's coming, man's taking it round you, man's keeping it on you. That's a dribbler for me. Like that for me is like you've got tech like that. I don't see Salah doing that. Doesn't mean I'm not saying Salah's obviously like G said. I'm not saying Salah's poor. I'm not saying this. I'm not saying he hasn't scored mad goals because he's a type of player that is instinctive. Like sometimes he just gets the ball and you can't go and teach that. Like you can't go and teach the way Salah dribbled. And that's what I'm saying about Harvey Barnes. Harvey Barnes is textbook. Like there's certain things you do and you're like, oh, you done that clean. Like you took the touch, like you received the ball on your left foot and you passed it on your right foot. Whereas Salah's the type he do everything with his left foot and it looks awkward and it's not textbook and you shouldn't do that. And you would never tell a player to go do what Salah's doing, but Salah can do it. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Listen, I don't know what you're saying, but I 1,000,000% disagree. But anyways, back to the point.
1,000,000% disagree.
As I was saying, so for this Europa Conference League, who are we saying like as a final? By the way, we still got Everton. I kind of want to just get them out of the way, really and truly.
Bro, are they not? I thought they were already in the lower bit, bro.
Sorry.
They're lower mid-table, man. They're lower mid.
Remember, listen, I was trying to include everybody. So I'm saying we were deciding between higher mid, lower mid. Sorry.
We should have just put them in relegation for Bants, bro.
Yeah, well, this is it. And then obviously high mid, 8, 9, 10, 11. We're still missing one team here, by the way. And I know for a fact we're not putting anyone in this bracket. So either Newcastle will come down or, 8, 9, 10, 11. Missing someone.
Obviously,
Can we skip?
We have to do it as a collective, but I'm just saying, as a personal view, I have Spurs there, but obviously as a view of GTV, we're going to decide to get
So the personal view, them man, they're getting there.
All right, we'll leave that one. We'll come back to it. Who's finishing Europa League then?
Liverpool.
Liverpool
and Villa.
No, Villa. Villa is definitely going there.
That's what I think.
And so you have
Whoa.
We ain't there yet.
Just remember the teams who are available, yeah?
Remember the teams. Villa is getting there.
Okay. Yeah. I want to remember the teams.
Yeah, United. Minor them to United as well.
You think United? I'll say no more. Hey, if he says United, he says United. Jerry, who are we putting in this Europa League in that?
I'm putting.
Just look at the teams who are available. That's all I'm saying.
If we're going based on the teams available, it's got to be for me Spurs and Villa.
I hear it. That's kind of what I'm thinking as well. From what's available.
Fair. This has surprised me. This is why I love predictions, because you think you have similar ones. And
once we finish this whole table, by the way, we can go back and we'll get opinion.
I have as it stands, because you know the whole thing. Let's wait till the window shuts and whatnot. Obviously, predictions can change because not all signings have come in, not all signings have gone out. But as it stands, of the 10th of August, I've got Liverpool and Villa in there. They're mad too.
I would have had Liverpool. I'd have had Liverpool in there, but just the teams that we've got here for me is a shambles at the moment. So it just doesn't make sense. Like I can't see Liverpool finishing below Tottenham. That'd be a tragedy, bro.
Exactly. I'll put Spurs in there for now. Why is their background black? Like, why don't they just leave it a different color?
That's the same things I said on the other show.
Bro, like, you know, just because their thing is blue, like, just all looks crazy in that.
Bro, because I've got the picture up, right, and they're in a position, and I'm like, bro, what team is there? Did we miss a team out?
Exactly.
I was like, oh, yeah.
It just looks mad. All right, this is what I'm going to do, yeah? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, we've got 5 teams. I'm just going to place these 5 teams in where I think they will potentially go.
No, G, come on.
No, the only reason why I say that, go on.
Do you know the reason why I say we have to do it? Because I really want to know where people stand with this. Because if you put them in there, it will end up being an agreement on what you think. But if we as a collective, then it will be like, okay, this is where we actually think. Because I don't want men to go, oh, nah, I agree with G. Nah, bro, let's just pick them and choose our teams, bro.
2nd, 3rd, and 4th.
Man City are going 2nd.
Fair. My 2nd, 3rd, and 4th would have been Arsenal, United, and Chelsea.
I already know where Ender's going with Liverpool anyway. I already know.
I couldn't vote last time, bro. I'm trying to vote this time right.
Listen, you get your vote. Everyone gets their vote. Yeah.
Oh yeah, based on what's there, I'm going Arsenal, United, Liverpool, Chelsea. Yeah, Arsenal, United. Yeah, Arsenal, United, Chelsea.
What I will do is leave them 2 out. These 3 teams are the funniest ones. I actually think Chelsea are going to be the hardest team to judge this season.
So we're thinking they're going to climb from 10th to the top 4 based on the signings that they've made, and they've let go of a lot of players as well.
12th ends. We need to.
Oh, is it 12? My bad. Jesus Christ. Was it 12?
Yeah, they finished 12th, bro. We cannot forget.
And then we think. So look, they've let go of Kai. Obviously, they let go of Kai. Who else did they let go of? Pretty much the senior team.
Kai, Mount, Koulibaly, Kante,
Kovacic. Bro, why does people think that this team is gonna just all of a sudden
be great? Should I give you my reasoning for it, right?
Yeah, please.
Cool. I just feel Chelsea are gonna be that. You see the start of last season, everyone would have kind of predicted Arsenal 4th or 5th, right? The majority of people, I'm gonna say everyone, but the majority of people would have predicted Arsenal 4th or 5th. But they went on this run, they had that momentum, and all of a sudden you're kind of looking around like, bro, they're in the title race kind of thing. I don't think Chelsea win it. I don't think they challenge at all. But I had Chelsea third because I just think while everyone around them has that European distraction, with a manager that's good at nurturing young players, they're going to have less games. So for me, that means a potential reduction in injury because you can get injured anywhere, to be fair. But I just mean, I feel it might be potentially less injuries. I just feel they're going to cook. I genuinely feel they're going to cook. And I think they're going to be that team that everyone sleeps on, but they're keeping a sustainable level. I think they finished third this season. That's my reasoning for.
Well, they've made Reece James captain now, and he's an injury-prone player. He just keeps getting injured and breaking down. So let's see how that goes. And like obviously the comment they're saying, they even got rid of Mendy. They're looking to get rid of Aspilicueta. Not Aspilicueta. Is it Aspilicueta? No. What's the goalkeeper's name?
Aspie has already left.
Oh, it's Aspie.
Kepa.
Sorry, they're looking to get rid of Kepa as well. Aspilicueta, yeah, he's left. That's why they're giving the captaincy to Reece. But then, and they've lost Nkunku now. He's out for 3 months or whatever with his knee injuries, needs knee surgery as well. So, are we scared? Are we saying that Mudryk, Sterling, and what's his name, Jackson is going to be better than our front line? And then who's their provider in their midfield? Are we saying Enzo is just going to provide? Oh.
Here's where I counter that ends. For me, us on the transition, it is scary. And I think we outscore a lot of teams this season. I think it's reminiscent of Klopp's earlier years. I think we're up there in the metrics of Arsenal City, but I feel Chelsea aren't as potent as us going forward. But they'll get them 1-0 wins, them 2-1 wins. And I feel they're still defensively more resilient than us, where I think we're going to leak more and they're not. That's why I think Chelsea finish above us.
Okay, I'll get your point if they go and get Caicedo and if they go and get Lavia. But I'm looking at their midfield as it stands. Who's creating in that midfield, and then who's the actual defenders in terms of they don't have no DMs. That's why they're hunting down all these men. Who in their midfield is competing with us on Sunday?
I need to remember this is of today as well because I'm thinking, I'm assuming they're getting these players. That's also in my thinking.
But that's what I'm saying. We have to do it from today.
Yeah.
And Nkunku would have cooked differently, bro. In whatever position you would have put him behind the striker, attack it, wherever he would have killed, man. But he's now injured. That's a big missing piece. We look at their defense. Their defense is relatively new. And then we're talking about an old Thiago at the back as well. 1 year older. I know he's got the experience. I know he's a quality player. And then we're saying Badashile at the back as well. He's young, still inexperienced to a point. And Reece James.
Both their fullbacks are injury prone. Both of them.
And they're both their fullbacks are injury prone. And their goalkeeper he's suspect at times, bro.
Yeah.
So what's the straight? That's why I'm trying to understand why do people think they're gonna move from 12, which I'm not saying they can't, because obviously with the new coach, with the new system, with a different way of playing, whatever, getting these players cold, bro. With all these players, of course they can do what they need to do, but I'm trying to understand how do they move from 12 to top 4?
I think they will finish in Europa League. That's just what I think. I think with that 1 game a week, that will get them European football. But this is why I was looking at the table and I was just counting, obviously, teams and blah, blah, blah. I was just laughing because I asked you guys the question at the beginning of the show, do we think that this season is going to be important for a lot of teams? And it kind of shows that we actually do think it's going to be very important because we can't seem to place some of these teams. Like, we're debating a lot about certain teams and where we think they may or may not finish, which tells me that we're not even sure really about certain teams, etc., etc. Like, I'm looking at that just top 7 alone as an example. That could easily, for me, they're probably Chelsea, where Spurs and all of that, like that can all kind of change. And then below that, it's almost a free-for-all. Anyone could really finish anywhere. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like, Burnleys, the Evertons and stuff like that. These teams, Wolves might not even get relegated. It could be someone else. Like, it's looking kind of sticky. I can't even lie. But Chelsea, like I said before, they're the hardest team to place because you just don't know. Like, you actually don't know. Either they're going to just slap it this season or they're going to be dead. I don't think there's going to be any middle ground with them.
You know what? That end said if we're going to go off today, because again, we're literally going to go off their squad as of now. I'm going to have to put them. I can put them a bit lower if we're going to go off today. I think without the potential signings I think they're going to make, I'll probably then have to agree with you, G. I'll probably put them 5th or 6th as of today.
So where does Villa go?
I put Villa up, you know. I put Villa up and I dropped Liverpool to Conference of Europa.
Bro. Nah, bro, I'm not voting. Listen, let me know, and I didn't agree with that.
You man are shameless, bro.
What Liverpool 7th?
No, I'm saying
no, bro. I'm going Liverpool to win the title, bro. I'm on it, bro.
Yeah, good luck.
What title? What Premier League?
Listen,
I'm on it. The title we're winning is the fewest yellow cards in the Premier League season.
That's a fair play league in that. Jesus.
You have to tell me why we can't.
We ain't got a defense. Our defense is trash. We conceded every game in pre-season.
Okay, but that's a defense, bro. Okay, can we add context to that conversation? Because there was never a point where the normal defense played the whole game. There was never one point.
But then
explain that to me. Explain that to me.
Forget about the defense. Forget about the defense. The reason why we won't win the league is our manager, bro. Daniel on the touchline. This guy has got us doing some fugazi tactics. You've been watching us pre-season, bro. Like, we're doing the same thing last season. Robbo's getting cooked. Virgil and Kanai just left on their own. Bro, I promise you, by game week 4, Kanai hamstring. 1 month, 2 months out. This guy is doing madness at the moment.
Bro, can we not say these things and put them in the universe, bro, for these things to happen?
You took the words out of my mouth, because it's not even just Kanate, bro. Then you look at our 2 backups in Gomez and Matt. Just forget them being injury prone. Forget them being injury prone. They're just not good enough. So it's like, bro, we're Kanate injury away. Listen, we look dead anyway in the transition, but with him getting injured potentially, bro, and going forward, I've got no worries, bro. Going forward, it's a joy touch if you ask me, but it's the other way, bro. And this is why I have us outside the top 4.
Can I ask though? The whole point of football, right, to outscore the opposition. So if we do that, bro, we're here for. Bro, let's just vibes out next season.
Just quickly. Every season in the Premier history, I say every single season, every champion has had the same thing in common. They have a good start. Even Leicester, when they won it, I think they won probably 7 or 8 of their first 10 games. We are not doing that this season. We are not putting together any run at the start of the season.
But bro, you're talking from a standpoint that's not factual, bro. We don't know. They might do. And then what do you then come back and tell me?
You seen our first 10 games?
So why can't we win it, bro? Why can't we win those games?
Newcastle away, Villa.
I don't care about Chelsea, bro. Don't care about Newcastle. We're the only ones to Newcastle.
When Mudryk is cooking us on Sunday.
What I'm telling you now, if Darmstadt,
when Diaz is cooking them as well.
If Darmstadt, if Karlsruhe, if any other team we went and played, were able to play one ball over the top and cause us issues, I kid you not, no matter how much you're rating Chelsea or not, Pochettino's an astute manager. He's going to get Mudryk, flipping Madueke, Sterling, whoever, to go and cook us down that thing. And we're the type of team that are not going to adapt. We're not going to adapt.
I also pay attention to what the manager said, and the manager said, we're going to come up with a tactic for Chelsea. So we might not play the exact same way that you're saying, bro.
The same tactic. On my life, we play the same tactic.
Listen, I can only go by what the gaffer is saying, bro. And when we pay attention to what the gaffer said, he said we're coming up with something for Chelsea, bro. We might play a different way, bro.
That's fair. I don't trust him.
I can only listen to what the gaffer says. He's in a position where I'm not in. Listen, he's in a position. He gets paid 14 million to make these decisions. So if he goes and then does it, all I'm saying is I'm listening to what he has to say, and then come Sunday, if he doesn't do, then I can cook him. But if he does it, what? Come on,
in the last 12 months, has Klopp spoke more sense or more bullshit? Just answer me that.
But it depends what you asking him to talk about, though.
Whether it's about on the pitch or off the pitch, because it's the same
Bro,
guy.
he's gonna say he's gonna say what he needs to say to back the team, back the own, whatever he needs to. I need context. Is he just saying stupid stuff? I don't think he said no stupid stuff.
It's the same guy that said start of last season. I've got Morton, Ox, Cater. What more do I need? I was laughing at us. Okay. Yeah. But
he's also the manager. He's also the manager says we have to find solutions in the squad. Then going out there and buying them. Bro. But we've won trophies in those times, bro. You man are going like we ain't won trophies in the last 5 years, bro. We won 2 trophies the season before, possibly of winning 4, and then one bad season, and all of a sudden he's not a good manager.
Bro, I don't want to hear this. We won 2, possibly 4. We could have won possibly 10, bro. We ended up with.
But we won 2. The factual evidence is we won 2 trophies, and no man was saying he wanted them out then.
2 trophies, which I guarantee you, every other fan, if you went and told them scrap those trophies, yeah, we want to go and get in the. Get the Premier League or the Champions League or one of them. Everyone would have dropped those 2.
But none of them were competing for them though.
Those 2 in the grand scheme of things are insignificant if you can't get the 2 trophies.
What do you mean they're trophies as a professional football player? They're not they're not trophies you can't go and win, bro. They're trophies they're put in place to go and win. The FA Cup is a big trophy. The League Cup were cool. All right, whatever.
Hold on. Would you be comfortable with Liverpool finishing 7th every season but winning an FA Cup every season? Like Arsenal? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Bro, winning trophies is winning trophies, bro.
This is a London. You know what?
Okay. No, let me ask you a question. So you're saying you'd just rather challenge than win a trophy then?
100%.
Nah, 100%. Bro, then I can't do
I'm not
that,
gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna lie to you.
The whole point. Then we're Arsenal. Then you want us to be Arsenal?
No. That's all them man did. I'd rather be Arsenal from last season than what we did. 100%.
Bro, listen. Any trophy that we're in, I want to win it, bro. That's me.
And would you take 8th or 9th?
Every trophy I want to win it, but when you look back on it, right?
But we're not going to finish 8th or 9th.
Would you take it?
Yeah, sorry. For a club the size of Liverpool, those 2 trophies, when you're going for the 2 major ones, right, and you're on to go and make those 2 major ones, are only supplementary, bro. That's like telling me, yeah, we won the Community Shield, so yeah, we're that.
Hey, it's a trophy, bro. It's in the cabinet. Put that in there.
All right, man.
You're not seeing our Arsenal celebrating, bro. You're not seeing our Arsenal celebrating.
They're celebrating. No. Let's not do that. They're celebrating because they know that
it's a plate. It's a nice plate.
Hey, so is the Bundesliga, but we're not complaining about that, bro. It's a plate, isn't it?
No. But that's the league, bro. That's different. This is a charity game, bro. It's
not a charity. No, bro. It's it's our Super Cup. You can only be in it if you finish second or win the FA Cup or win the league. If it was charity, then surely we should just scrap the whole point of winning the FA Cup, finishing second, then or winning the league. It should just be randomly drawn out of how you man play for it.
No, it's not even about that. Of course, they're gonna want to go.
But based on what you man are saying, that's what should be though.
2 top teams.
You're the best team to play in it.
I'm saying now, in the seasons where we won the Community Shield, which we won it last season, I think we won it the season before, we lost it or whatever, right? We have gone and not won the league, so it doesn't make a difference whether you win it or not. This is my point. And when we look at it, yes, when you're in the league, when you're in the season, you can use the likes of the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup to propel your season, right? But no one's sitting around here and saying, Man United had a great season if they had won the FA Cup but fell out of the Europa League and ended 4th. No one would have said they had a great, outstanding season because they won a trophy. 100%. If that's all you can do that. That's the bare minimum. But for a club of Liverpool's stature, we should be going for the top honours. And with the type of manager that you say we've got, when you're trusting the manager's words and the fact that you're telling me that the manager's won everything there is to win, there's a certain standard we've got to keep uphold of him. Because otherwise, you might as well be in Ange Postecoglou and just say, yeah, it's calm, innit? We're in for this, we're in for that.
Okay. But based on what you're saying, we've not stuck up to that standard in one season you're talking about, which is last. The season before, we were up to that standard. We got to the final, we got down to the last game of the Premier League. So are you now judging based on this season? Because now you're saying it in a way, Arsenal could go and fall off. They could have the same injuries we had last season. Are we forgetting that certain man was out, Virgil was out, Konate was out, Nunes was out, Jota was out, Bobby was out, Diaz was out. We forgetting all these players that was out in the season where we expected to challenge.
No, 100% they were out, but you have to remember. So okay, in football, you're only as good as your last game. You can't.
No problem. No problem. But you have to add context.
But we can't do this thing. You're only as good as your last season and your last game. We can't go and use. Oh yeah, 3 seasons ago we were calm and we done this, and it's only one season that happened. that we could see that there was systematic errors within Liverpool that enabled us. Yeah, we were able to go and potentially maintain a challenge, but there's a reason now why weren't you able to go and win that. We're just talking about Arteta now, and the first thing you said when we started this thing is you're looking at Arteta, because if Arteta don't win any of the major things, he's going to be in a problem with the amount of money he's going to spend. I flip it and I look at Klopp as well, and I'm like, with the team that you've got, forget the money that's spent. The team that you've got, you're telling me the attack is cooking, we're doing this, last season was just a flop, we're going to go and win the league. If that's the case, right, I need to judge him by that standard. And if you fall short, then we need to judge all these managers the same. We can't be, because he's our manager, be giving him the benefit of the doubt, right? And then looking at Arteta and trying to say, yeah, sack him off because he ain't won the league if he goes and challenges. That's what man are trying to tell me.
But all right, I'll leave it on this because I know it's G's fault anyway for putting Man City top because I didn't vote for that. But
I'm not even negotiating who's winning that league. Like,
no, that's fine, bro. G, it's your show. You do whatever you like. I'm just saying, let it be known I did put my team first. But Ish, I'm gonna ask Ish and I'm gonna ask Jerry because you guys are the ones fighting the case, right? If obviously we're living in a world, obviously it might have happened. If Liverpool didn't have all those injuries last season, do you believe we could have challenged, or you just think we would have finished exactly where we did? Bearing in mind we only finished 4 points off of the top four.
What are the main injuries? Diaz.
Every one of the top players apart from Salah got injured, and say Trent in terms of a top player and Alisson.
Not for long periods though. Van Dijk was out for like 3 weeks, and it was all kind of spread out.
No, he was over for over a month. Konate was out for 2 months. Bobby missed 2.5 months. Jota missed 3 months. Diaz missed 6 months. Should I go on?
That's calm. But the months that we're talking about, we have to look at how many. You're going. Sorry, go on.
No, I was going to say it was spread out over that. It wasn't like the 2020-21 season where every man just got injured at the same time.
But at one point though, we only had Nunes as the lone man that we brought in to come and save us. He was the only fit and attacker. Bro, that's with Salah basically. That's because no. But that was based on injuries, bro. Because Jota would have been playing and Diaz would have been playing. So that's nothing to do with the window.
Yeah, so but we can't use that. Goals. I don't really think the forwards been having scoring last season. We were scoring goals. I know obviously the games where we scored a lot over kind of overcast a little bit, but we still weren't like it's only those away losses to like Forest, Bournemouth, where it was like we looked like we weren't scoring at all. But I wouldn't say goal scoring was our problem last season. It was just the tactics was a myth, bro. Yeah. The press was off, the line was too high, but it wasn't like we just couldn't hit a barn door for bare games. Like we still beat Bournemouth 9-0, United 7-0. There were games where we definitely were bagging goals, but the tactics were a myth, man. The tactics.
Well, then all I'm asking is, would Liverpool, if they had in a world where we didn't have none of these injuries, are you guys openly telling me that Liverpool would still finish 5th?
I think we were top 4 comfy.
I think Liverpool might have gone and finished 4th, right? But I would never have trust in that team. Like looking at individual performances from players, right? For the players to go and win the league and stuff. And that's the thing I'm measuring people by. And you have to remember, I would have still been disappointed if Liverpool had gone and finished 3rd, 2nd. And injuries happen in football. I'm sorry. Like you go through, apart from our title winning season where it seemed like no one was injured, right? We can go through the list and be like, oh yeah, De Bruyne was injured last season, or Rodri's out for a bit. And there was a period where they had no midfielders in the team and they had Rico Lewis playing there. Walker was out. There were so many injuries they had, yet they were still able to go and churn out results. Now, we were able to score goals.
They didn't have the type of injuries as us, bro. So
no, but from a tactical standpoint, yes, Diaz was injured, but from a tactical standpoint, right, we were still able to score goals. But from a defensive standpoint, the manager didn't seem like he didn't have a clue. It didn't have a clue. We went into games and we're like, why are we doing this? Like, why are we doing this, Highland? Why are we doing it?
There was about 3 games we fought.
Bro, when you were saying this, you were confused.
But there was only 3. There was 3 games we lost last season. We lost 1-0. So when Ishi's saying about the goal score, we didn't score goals in those games. We were losing games by 1-0 because we didn't have the players to go and score those goals that we were missing through injury. And yes, you're right. It can be everyone can get injured. But if you put that same context to like the Arsenal squad, if Arsenal didn't have Saliba, they blame their whole season collapse on Saliba getting injured.
But I disagree with that, though.
I'm just saying you how the world works. So that imagine Saliba gets injured, Jesus gets injured. I don't know. Saka then gets injured. Their goalkeeper gets injured.
Jesus didn't get injured.
I'll throw another one in there. Yeah, but Jesus got injured in a period where they still had players back in their core. I'm talking about that these men all out at the same time. Are you telling me Arsenal going to finish? Arsenal going to title challenge? No, wait, bro. They were, man. Come on. Konate was out from the start of the season, weren't he? Jota was out from the start of the season. Bobby played 2 games, got injured. Diaz played 4 games and they got injured.
Matip was in good form. We weren't here saying we weren't crying about Konate being injured. Yeah, we weren't crying about Konate being injured. I mean, the only injury that properly derailed us.
Bobby was in good form as well.
Bobby was top goal scorer until he got injured, bro.
I say the injury that actually properly derailed us was the Diaz one, because that's when we changed to 4-2-4. We were looking all right. Then Diaz got injured. We had to go back to 4-3-3 again. Then the whole team just started looking mad. But other than that, are we real? Thiago injury in the season is customary anyway. We know to expect that. There should be no surprise that Thiago's out for. It should be a surprise when he's playing. Konate wasn't starting. Matip was in good form. It wasn't oh my god, Konate's missing. Matip was probably one of our best defenders last season. And then Jota, that was right before the World Cup. So it wasn't really he was out for bare long and we missed him for a large period of games. He got injured the game before the World Cup, I think, against City when we won. So the injuries were, for me, it's a normal amount of injuries. It's the same as Jesus getting injured and Arsenal still scoring goals, just putting in Ketir in instead. It wasn't really a massive one for me. I just think last season it just looked a shambles, man. The structure of the team looked a shambles. Not we're missing 1 or 2 players. The key man were there.
Yeah, on a personal one, I know this is a collective prediction, but do you genuinely, I feel like you were trolling a bit, but do you genuinely believe we win the league?
Sorry. Now, little man was trying to talk to me. The reason why I think that we'll win the league, bro, I think...
Wait, so you seriously...
No, I'm being serious, bro. I'm being serious. And here's the reason why I think we will. All right, go on. Listen, we don't have the Champions League to worry about, which means that we're going to probably rotate the team a lot more than what we're used to. Hopefully, that's what we do. In my mind, that's what we do. Europa League doesn't mean that, Virgil needs to play, Salah doesn't need to play. Certain midfielders we can rest some of these, man. So you can play a lot of these fringe players as such and let them go and win those games. That means we're gonna have a fresh Mo, a fresh Virgil. So all these injury concerns that we're worried about, using these players too often because we're playing a Real Madrid, because we're playing these top teams in the Champions League. Necessarily, we don't need to do that. So we get these men rested. Then you're gonna have. We can then use Gakpo. We can rotate the front line in terms. You can use Nunes for one game if you need to. You can use Gakpo. You can use Jota if you need to. Diaz, you can use him if you need to. And then you've got guys like Dope that look cold in pre-season. If you bring him on in certain games, bro, he can cause an issue as well if needs be. If we then go and get a 6, which we will go and get 6, which we will. I can't see us ending this window without getting a 6. I can see us just rotating the squad, using different formation, different systems to try and beat these teams, bro. And all I'm looking at is a lot of fresh players instead of Virgil playing every game, Mo playing every game. I don't know if you want to use Gakpo plays every game, McAllister plays every game, so Boszalai plays every game. It means they have time to rest. It means that we can have a fresh team to play, like I saw Arsenal do the whole of last season. The reason why they were able to turn out these results because they were playing once a week, bro. So why can't we do the whole thing and play in a certain 11 once a week and turn out these results? Are we saying our 11 isn't good enough once a week to go and win games of football in the Prem? Of course
it's not the 11 for me. It's the more systematic issue where our defense as a collective won't be resolute enough. And because you know the cliche saying, attack can win you games, defense wins you titles. I don't think our defense is robust enough for a sustained period amount of time to win the league. That's my only problem, because a lot of things you said there were factual in terms of rotating, giving players rest. In terms of this is what I keep saying. In terms of going forward, I'm not worried at all, because I think everything you said, the whole rotation aspect, we will. But it's the other way. Even with a fit back four, where I think it's a systematic issue, we're still going to leak a lot of goals. That's why I can't even see us getting top 3, let alone top 4. But it's nice to know your reasoning too, because I thought you were trolling. I genuinely thought you were trolling.
No, bro. Listen, I'm a Liverpool fan at the end of the day, and I got to back my team. It's not a thing where I'm looking at it. I don't think that we don't need players. Of course, we need another centre back. Of course, we need more midfielders. That's what I've been calling. I want to run, but obviously that's not going to happen. But if we literally go and get a Caicedo, it might look that way. Maybe a Lavia, whatever happens. People are screaming out for other players. So if we do get the players that everyone is saying we want to go and get, are we still saying we're not going to go and do it? Because all we need is a DM and maybe another centre mid. Then the centre back, Kwanzaa could step in.
You know what it is? I hear what you're saying, yeah, but that's why I disagree. Because for me, I don't think it's a personnel issue. Like, I think the goals we're conceding.
So it's not the owners, it's not the players, it's the manager. Then we have an issue.
No. Of course, they contribute, because then there's less of an excuse almost for Klopp, right? So it's like not even an excuse, but there's less reasons where you can be like, oh, we didn't get investment, or I didn't have this player, which is fair. And I said, I want Klopp to have the best foot to step forward so we can judge his performances. And there's no question about whether we have investment, whether there's a midfielder, whether there's a defender or whatnot. But what I'm saying is our issues that we're going and seeing, right, isn't a personnel issue. A lot of the times when we're going into games, right, we've got a better 11 9 times out of 10 across the league. The 11's always better. The issues are tactically, Konate, ball over the top, causing trouble, Trent out of position, Robert out of position. Whoever we go and play there, I don't think makes that much of a difference. If you go and look at some of the stats of our players, right, the players weren't that much off what they were the season before. They weren't that much off. And then it's mad to go and say, I beg someone bring up the stats and compare them. They weren't that drastically off. Of course, the team was worse, so you're going to see a slight drop off, but it weren't like man was getting 9 interceptions and then man was getting 2 interceptions the next season. It was like 2 interceptions less per game. And that's a whole team issue. That's what worries me, is when I go and look in pre-season, we conceded goals every single game and it was the same type of goal. And it's like, we didn't make any adjustments in that game to go and sort that out. There was no adjustments. And that's my worry. Like, whoever we go and put in that DM role, yes, we have better quality in that team and it might give us more confidence going into a game, 100%. But I don't see that as a banker until I go and see results. We don't even know if these players are going to bang. Like, let's just be honest. Whoever we go and bring in, imagine they flop. That can happen, you know.
Jerry, I'm not going to try and disagree with what you're saying because there's some facts in what you're saying. But at the same time, I have to add the context to it. I watched the preseason at the same time, but I never saw the full 11 play for the whole game. So in my head, I'm like, as someone watching, I'm like, okay, what did the quote unquote starting back 4, back 5 looks like when they were on the pitch? How many goals did we actually concede? We didn't concede that many. It's only when we started putting in the young midfielders in there, we started putting Kwanzaa, maybe Matip and Joey in there, and then Simicast. And I was like, okay, we're leaking more goals. We had Adrian pass the ball out to might have been Clark, might be getting it wrong, or Connolly, and then he ended up passing the ball back in his own net. So I'm looking at that as, well, Alisson ain't gonna do that. In my head, that's not gonna happen. Virgil is gonna deal with a lot of these. Even when Virgil came off the game against Bayern, they had more joy when Virgil came off the pitch.
I fully hear that, but the fact that even Virgil as skipper comes out to me and says, oh yeah, I understand fans' concerns because we've been conceding a lot of goals and we've let go of a lot of our midfielders and a lot of our leaders. That suggests to me there's actually a larger issue because the players are always going to try and play it down because, especially as captain, trying to protect the interests of the club. If he's coming out and saying, I understand where fans are coming from, he's not sitting there and saying, no, we're all good, it's pre-season and, you know, we had some youngsters were playing, but, you know, we're going to be good. He's adamant and understanding that, yeah, we've got an issue there because the goals that we were going and seeing against Bayern Munich, against Hull, against Darmstadt, against Leicester, was when the first team were playing and it was balls over the top. And even if we weren't conceding, how many times did Ndidi get through? How many times did Gnabry get through? How many times did that Darmstadt brother get through with a ball over the top? That's what worries me. And for a manager, 1 second before I finish here, but let me say, and for a manager to come out 6 days before the start of the season and say, yeah, I'm going to have to come up with a tactic for Chelsea. That is madness to me because you knew Chelsea was on the horizon back in June, bro. You knew it back when the squad decks were released back in May. So the fact that you're having to go and do that now suggests to me there's issues throughout the club, but on the footballing basis, we are not prepared. So I can't use that, and I'm not confident to go and say, yeah, as a result, our team's going to be doing this and X, Y, Z. But I understand what you're saying as well. I understand what you're saying.
Just to add on to what Jay said, I think something's key. Even the chances we weren't conceding in pre-season with our strongest back line, that's not the opposition we're going to be playing during the normal season. Against them, the teams of more quality, we're getting punished. If we make them same mistakes, I know they say pre-season to iron out the mistakes, whatnot, but even if we're not, because some people see it, and I'm happy JJ said this, some people see it as, yeah, we were conceding them chances, but we didn't concede an actual goal. But against better opposition, you give a City or Arsenal that space in behind, or that we've been giving these less opposition, we're pissed. We are actually pissed. That's why we kind of need to iron them out from early.
Listen,
Do you know one thing I will say, Ends, though, where I'm very optimistic this season, and I said this from the minute we were confirmed 5th. We're winning the Europa League. I know JJ and G don't agree, but we are winning the Europa League. I'll tell you that with chest. And a lot of people might look at it like, is this how the standards have dropped? Hey, we're the only country that disrespects this competition. Though. It's a European trophy. Back in the 70s and 80s, the Lazios, the Parmas, and that, they were lord.
Listen, I don't want to disrespect the Europa League. The Europa League is the Europa League. What I will say to what you guys have been talking about, and that's why I kind of just let it run for a little bit, because I did want to kind of just, I wanted everyone in the chat and just myself as well to kind of listen to both sides of things in terms of obviously Ends obviously saying why he thinks, of course, why Liverpool could win the Premier League, and obviously Jerry, you're on the opposing side in terms of where you think Liverpool may finish. I actually think you're both correct. That's the worst thing about it, and that's what I think it's going to be an interesting season again. Hence why I asked everybody at the beginning of the season, do we think it's going to be that? Do we think it's going to be important? And obviously, do we think, in regards to Klopp and how much pressure he may or may not be under? But I'm going to side more. Obviously, I
don't.
Man, kick it. Man.
We're trying to hear what you're saying.
Listen, whatever side you was about, change your side. Change the side you was about to land on. See that side you was about to land on?
If we're going for, just because I want to wrap this up in like the next 5-10 anyway, but it's been a good conversation. I still think Liverpool finish where I've put the teams, the top 4. That's where I believe the top 4 will kind of land next season. But what you were saying, I kind of agree with it. But then Jerry, I kind of agree with what you're saying. So because both could easily could happen. Liverpool could be in a situation whereby you sound like you're more coming from the premise that it could more or less just flip the script and we go back more or less to what we were under Jurgen Klopp and when we were dominating. But like I said on your channel earlier on today, when me and Cav were having this conversation, the landscape of football has changed.
Sorry to interject. I just got some breaking news. We're willing to break our record transfer fee for. Yeah, now it's literally just down to the players. If he gives the nod, apparently it gets done.
Yeah, Melissa already said that. Yeah, we're willing to spend that kind of fee. I'll get into that in a sec. But just even talking back to that, I feel like what I will say on this whole thing is that the landscape of football has changed. I think we all have to see that and see for what it is. So whatever that means, i.e., we look at this table right now, and this is what I was trying to say Ends before with Cav. We didn't have Newcastle in even a European place, let alone anywhere else. We had them relegation, them man battling like there's no tomorrow. We didn't have the Villas. We didn't have even the Brightons. We didn't have all of these kind of teams where we're looking at them and thinking to ourselves, "Oh, that ain't going to be as easy as it probably would have been under 3 years ago under Klopp, when we were just so dominant, where the league table was more or less, let me see if I can get it up, was more or less this. You didn't know who's going to happen here. This was like, you didn't know what was going to happen here because you didn't know who was going to finish in the top 4 kind of thing. And it was just like that gap. There was always a gap between everyone else. And then it was just this free for all. Everyone can kind of probably even go in the same bracket, if I'm being totally honest. Whereas now, I don't feel like the landscape is like that. I feel like we're in this position where these guys might cause a bit of an issue. Don't sleep on them because they're just Manchester United and that's just how they do. And obviously with the Chelsea and Spurs, they're too like maybes kind of thing. But that's why I say with Liverpool, I am leaning more to the side of, I don't know. We're banking, and this is why I don't want to do it. When we're banking, they just flip the script and go back to what they know. That's what we're banking on.
Hey, listen,
they flip it and then.
From my side, G, it benefits all of us. Where I'm standing on, it benefits all of us because if Liverpool go and do what I think they can do, and if they do what, if I would do if I was the manager in terms of rotating the squad and trying to get the best out of the guys, and we're not running everyone into the ground. We got rid of the dead legs that everyone was complaining about in the midfield. We've now got in legs that we need and quality as well. Why can we not see that we could improve based off of we finished 4th with the players that we had last season, only 4 points on the top 4. And you're right in terms of the landscape has changed. So now we got rid of all those deadwood players in everyone's eyes, and now we've got in a bit more quality in the squad. How can I not be positive in terms of where I think we can finish? Because if we finish with that team with an improved team, with improved midfielders, and it looks like maybe another one in there, and maybe something else happens before the end of the. I don't know.
Because of what you just quickly, just because of what you literally just said and what I said, the landscape is different now. It's not a case of, even if we were to flip the script, it's still not going to be the point where we are miles ahead. It couldn't be, because the landscape's changed. We're not miles better than, and like even fuck it, 11 against 11, whatever. Even if you think Liverpool's 11 is better, we're not so far ahead of these teams anymore. These teams have literally caught up to us in a sense where they've now got a lot better quality. They've got better managers. They're playing better football, so to speak. Do you know what I mean? Like you're looking at the landscape a totally different way, as opposed to before. We had, obviously, I'm not saying we don't still have a banging manager, but we had literally, it was just us and Pep Guardiola and Manchester City. There was no one even close to touching us. I've seen in the last 2 seasons, teams are getting closer and closer to touching us. The only thing I have seen is that no one's is really getting close to touching Manchester City. Even when Arsenal were top of the league, you could always see this is going to end. You just knew, because they're that good. With Liverpool, it's like, we literally need to be, and as we've proved, the only time that we were near perfect, that's when we won the league. We can't have a drop-off. Our drop-off puts us back into the same category as everybody else. Man City can drop off like they did last season, quote-unquote, in terms of points and all that kind of stuff and blah, blah, blah. Still won the league, and they got the treble. And that was them when people were saying Man City ain't even all that. And they won the treble. We can't do that.
Can I just add to that as well? As to also why people are saying they weren't at their best, because they also become defensively more resolute. I think Patman, big City fan in the chat, he would even agree. Like, they might not look that aesthetically pleasing going forward, but I mean, Pep had literally a back four of 4 centre backs. That is unheard of. No one's really done this before. And just to allude what you're saying to earlier and there was a common theme what you're saying. When you're like, why shouldn't I be optimistic when we got rid of the deadwood people are complaining about and got in more quality? I literally agree with you, bro. But that's why I keep saying going forward is fine. But for me, the common denominator is the other way in transition, because we've not added to the defense yet. I don't think we will in it, but I don't 100% know that. We could strengthen the back line before the window shut. We've got, I think, 2-3 weeks left. But going forward, I'm with you in that aspect. I'm optimistic in that. That's why I think we're in the Europa League, by the way, because my theory for that is in Europe, in cup football, defense don't necessarily win you cups. We blitz teams in 30, 45 minute spells, and we've done it in the last 3-4 years in Champions League football. That's what I think we're going to do in Europa League as well, even at the latter stage, because that's when I think our big boys come into it, and Klopp doesn't rotate as much because he thinks, hold on a minute, we're at the quarters, we're at the semis. Let me actually get this one over the line. But for me, it's going the other way, and that's where I lose all my optimism, because I've seen too many things this pre-season. But in terms of going forward ends, that's why I do think we pick up silverware, because we are predominantly a cup team. Bar the league we won in 1920, we are a cup team. And to win things, you don't have to have a great defense of the cup team. You don't. Whoever thinks you do, that's the biggest myth. As long as you just blitz teams in a certain time frames, you're good. And we've seen it. How many Champions League ties, right, in the last 3-4 years we've ended? Let's say you play 2 90-minute games with 2 halves each. We've ended some Champions League ties 1 half out of the 4 in some of our Champions League ties. We've got the capability to do that, even with this attack. I know obviously the personnel is a bit different. You had the Bobbies, you had the Manes, but I know we're capable of that. But it's the other way it ends. That is just where I'm frightened, bro. I really worry. Whenever a team hit us on a transition, I just feel we're going to concede. Not to say we will, but I'm not assured, bro. I'm not assured.
But then you that fear comes from having Henderson, Fabinho, man, just running past them in midfield. Now we got Szoboszlai, we got McAllister, and possible getting Caicedo in there, maybe another. Does that not change in terms of your security? In terms of we're going to have players that's got have legs in there.
Let's bring it back to earlier. We're going off today.
Okay, but at the moment, we definitely have Mac and we definitely have Szoboszlai, which is definitely an improvement on Fab and Henderson if those are the 2 that got minutes. Because I'm not going to count Naby, I'm not going to count Ox. I'm not going to count them, man. So but in terms of the 2, They're better quality players.
Let's say that Olavia comes in and they're nullifying all them counters. They're being that lighthouse we've lost. They're recognizing danger. They're anticipating danger before it even comes. And we're not seeing a lot of teams just running behind us like there's no tomorrow. And me and you will be having a different conversation because I've now can see with my eyes the evidence is there. There's enough sample size to see, you know what? We look defensively better. But until then, like I was saying, we're going off today. And as it stands, I can only go off what I've seen pre-season with the supposed lads, with the mechanics. Are we still look vulnerable? You see where I'm coming from? We still look vulnerable.
No, but as I said, I agree with what you're saying. But for me personally, I looked at that and gone, yeah, but that was when I saw the youngsters jumped on the pitch as well, bro. That's not me seeing the full 11 for the whole 90 minutes.
Then it's back to, bro, then it's back to what JJ's saying. Even with our strongest back four, cool. You're right. Because when the young G's came on, that's when we conceded. But we were still conceded the same type of chances. But
at the same time, we were scoring. We was leading in these games, though. So I'm trying to use that into the concept of we take that into the Premier. I'm not expecting us not to concede. We're playing against Premier League opposition. Of course, we're going to concede chances. Of course, we're going to concede goals. We're not going to go the season without doing that. But it's about, can we minimize that, and then can we score more goals than the other team? Can we? Yeah. And bro, listen, I'm optimistic for the season. I'm optimistic, bro. That's all I'm saying.
Sorry to cut you ends, G. Someone's just got. I need to cut. G, love for having me on. JJ,
you know what?
Big up. You lot in the chat, smashing them likes. But yeah, I got a dip now. Thanks for having me, G.
No, come on, bro. Love every time. Look, I think Liverpool is probably the one position that we're looking at, and it's like a agree to disagree, to be honest with you. It's a tricky one. It's a funny one, yeah, in terms of where we think they might finish. I guess that just comes down to what we expect from Liverpool this season. But let's say, taking out Liverpool as an example, with the rest of that table, are we kind of happy? We're looking at it in terms of having Chelsea and Spurs Europa League, Newcastle in the Conference League, and then obviously the high mid, low mid. The relegation, I think now I'm happy with now. After listening to everybody, after listening to JD try spin Sean Dyche and them thing there, I said, all right, cool. I don't mind them being in the lower mid and them and that. Yeah, I mean, I don't know about maybe. I'm good with them being in the lower mid, to be honest with you. And I think the rest looks kind of fine. But are we kind of happy with everything bar the Liverpool one? I think like that one's a tricky one. I feel like that, again, we're supporters of Liverpool. So, of course, the expectations are just dependent on, you know what I mean? Just dependent on yourselves. But are we good with that, Jerry? And what you man telling me? I want to close this out anyway.
Hey, I'm good, man. I'm looking forward to the season, bro. That's all I'm saying. I'm here for the vibe next season. Whether we win it or we don't, I'm still going to be, you know what I mean, backing the boys to try and hit the heights that I know we can hit, bro. And yeah, look, it's a long season. It's 38 games. Can we do it? Yeah, we got the players, bro. Can we outscore teams? Yeah, we can. And yeah, you're right. Obviously, we look shaky sometimes defensively, but at the same time, I'm looking at pre-season. What I really wanted to see us play a lot more 90 minutes, like not saying 90 minutes, but I wanted to see the first team play a lot more, like 60, 70 minutes, and then I could have made a better assessment. But because every time I'm seeing 45 minutes, we're changing the whole team, I'm like, I can't really see like the consistency. But I do get where Jay's coming from. I do get where Ish was coming from as well. And I do get where Rums was coming from as well. But, bro, we're Liverpool fans. I'm here, bro. If Man City are going to win it, they can win it. If Arsenal are going to win it, but we should be feeling like we can go and put up a challenge as well. Why can't we? These men have got Champions League to worry about as well to do, and we don't. It's been a long time since we don't have Champions League to worry about as well, bro. So can we put that Europa League, let the other man then play that, and then we just look after the league? Of course we can. We can break the squad down.
Quick question, yeah. When's the last time a team that was in the Europa League won the league as well?
But we're Liverpool, bro.
I don't think so.
Yeah, that's another thing that I just don't. I've never, ever seen a team play so many games and still go and win the league. Like,
but this is what I'm saying. We don't need to play the first team in all these games.
It comes to a point, but it comes.
Why do we need to?
Because our other players aren't good enough. That's the point. We're not. Our players aren't good enough to go and do that. And if you go and look at Arsenal still play Saka in a lot. To your point, does it not benefit us then? Because if they're not good enough, that means we'll get knocked out. Then if we get knocked out, then we only have to worry about the league. So are we not in a better position? Yeah, what you're saying? No. We would be if we went and knocked out. That'd be a different thing. But going into the Europa League again, just on your point, when we go into every competition, we go into every competition to win it. We can't go to the Europa League and be like, yeah, we're going to sack this off and play the young Gs like we did with the Carabao Cup when we had to go to the Super Cup and we played Harvey Elliott and Bear young Gs. Liverpool aren't going to go and do that. Salah's going to go and play. Virgil's going to play. Alisson's going to play. And yes, you might get a sprinkle of a couple of other young players that play within that. But a lot of the core team are going to go and play that because guess what? The likes of Virgil and Salah want to go and win that cup and want to be a massive part of that because that's the mentality they've got. So I just don't see, even if we were to do really well, we saw it with Arsenal. I just don't think you can do it. I just don't think you can do it. But look, who am I as a fan?
No, fair.
Nah, listen, we'll wait and see. As I said, it's going to be an interesting season.
Strap in, boys.
Yeah, I think it's gonna. The season's gonna throw up a few surprises, but we'll wait and see. There's a couple of questions here before we close out the show. Jamrock asked us earlier on. This is for Jerry. What's this Paqueta thing with City?
City have bid 100 M's, well, 100 million euros for Paqueta. West Ham won at 110, but there's confidence on both sides that a deal can be done. And we've obviously Mahrez leaving. It looks like Paqueta might be the guy that comes in.
And
quality player, bro. But yeah, if they get him, bro, that makes them stronger. Of course. But listen, man, I'm only focusing on us, man. These men can get him.
No, I feel you. I guess I'll ask it to both of you. What should Chelsea fans and the owners expect from their accumulation of talent? You can make it brief.
I don't know. What can you expect, though, bro? Because I'm trying to see where finishing 12th, then what is the expectation? Is it to get back into the Champions League? But most of the players that they've bought, are they Premier League proven players? Are they players that are just going to come in and then the expectation is just to bang? I don't know. I don't know what the fans are going to expect.
Yeah, I think the fans, if I just listen to fans a lot, I think the fans have finally bought into this kind of not sustainable model, but long-term success as opposed to winning now. I think they're scarred from last season. I think bringing in a Pochettino, I think seeing the types of players that they've brought in, I think expectations are quite low, but they are optimistic with obviously the signings that they've made. The fact they obviously we talk about pre-season and not meaning necessarily very much, but we all want to have a season, and they won the Premier League like series in America and stuff, and that's going to give them a feel-good factor. I think Pochettino enjoys working with young players. I think that's where he thrives. And shout out to actually Neville, because I actually kind of agree with him on the overlap. He stated that, you know, going to PSG and seeing a different dynamic would have made him a better manager because he had never been in that situation before, dealing with egos and stuff. And I think now he's in a situation where he is, and he's made already a massive kind of statement by taking the captaincy of Thiago and playing, giving it to Reece James. So I think within himself, look, I'm a massive Pochettino fan, innit? I think Pochettino's an amazing manager. So I just think, look, they're not going to necessarily turn up trees and stuff, and they're going to be inconsistent and stuff. But they're right to be obviously optimistic, because from where they finished and the type of talent that they've got, they just don't know what to expect. They've got so many players. It might be that Diassi that turns up and he's a world beater. It might be Jackson. It might be Madueke. It might be Nkunku. It might be Kenny Chukwuemeka that no one's really talking about. But I think he's a very, very, very good player. The likes of obviously Chilwell, they've got obviously Colwell as well. A lot of things to be excited about. So new keeper as well. Sanchez coming in. So look, it's going to be interesting for them. Man. It's going to be interesting. So for them, it's going to be an exciting season. And I wanted that from Liverpool. I wanted a season where if we weren't gonna, the reason why I say that, if we were gonna just do this thing where like we're not signing anyone and we're doing that, I'd rather just scrap everything else and bring in all this young talent where we can get excited like back in the day, like when we were younger, and be like, oh, who is this brother? Oh, I can't wait to see you sat at my side. And whether it bangs, it doesn't. But you bring back that joy of football. We, amongst fans, I feel we still have this kind of expectation that we're still going to win because we're looking at Virgils and Salahs and stuff, and that kind of distorts, I think, a lot of fans' perception of where we are as a team and what we're actually going to achieve. But that's in my opinion.
Would you not be excited about like Doak and Scanlon, bro? Because they look on it, bro. I like.
No. I do, but I know Klopp's not going to play them. Like, if Klopp went and said, you know what, Diaz, went to Saudi and we just said, you know what, Scanlon's starting. Like, Scanlon's our main guy now. And we went and done it. I'd be like, okay, interesting. Like, if we went and if Klopp came out and said, you know what, Gerald Kwanzaa, he's getting a new number. He's that guy and he's going to play, and Robbo's out and we're going to play him. I've already said, I'm interested to go and see. We're never going to know if he can get to the level of a Cole or an Inacio or a Luka Bea or Luka Becker or whatever, if he don't play games. So we either send him out on loan or we just play him and just run it. Because that's the only way you can see if someone's good enough or not. Like Saka, I already said before, Saka, Emil Smith-Rowe, Martinelli, they don't get better if they're not played. Bear in mind, there were senior players ahead of them in the starting lineup. Up front, at one point, they had Lacazette, Aubameyang, and Pepe. That whole thing got usurped by young players and new players that they brought into the squad. So if we're going to go and see the best of these players, and look, Scanlon for me, I think it was underrated. I think Scanlon was ridiculous. I know people are talking about Doak, and that's fair enough. I think Scanlon's the one to watch. I think defensively he was really good. I think in tight positions, deep in the pitch, he was really, really, really good. And his decision making was good, especially like in a deeper position. So look, we have to just go and wait and see. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, man.
Yeah, for you. And last question. Tomorrow's game, quick prediction, scoreline for tomorrow. First game of the season. Man City versus Burnley. Vincent Kompany versus Pep. Master versus
Burnley
student.
2-1.
Jesus Christ.
Burnley 2-1.
Burnley 2-1.
Oh, it ends, yeah. Honestly, wherever you're on, send that to me because I'm not gonna.
I will, bro. I swear that I will.
Ill, bro. Like the psychedelics, whatever.
Bro,
it is,
I'm looking, bro.
About me, bro.
Listen, Jay, I'm looking forward to the start of the season, bro. I just need football back, bro. I need football back. I want to see the man them actually go and try and compete for 3 points, man. Instead of this, we're just every 2 minutes or 45 a different team come out. I'm like, okay, so Virgil's gone off, Salah's gone off. These man, nah, bro. Man, let's see who's had a better preseason, man.
Yeah, I think City 2-0, 2-1, something like that. Haaland just gets off the mark and does what Haaland does, man.
Yeah, Haaland might kill them still, but they can drop points early, bro. It's good for everyone.
I mean, listen, if they can drop points a bit earlier this time round, then you know what I mean, like gives everyone else a bit more of a chance. But I'll go with City 3-1. I think they'll go out there, and I actually think Burnley will score first, but it will just then turn into just complete and utter whitewash. You know what I mean. After that, they'll just control the game. Big up Angel 1968 Abel 3-0 City. I don't think they'll lose 9-0, although they did slap them in the cup game. And that was with a weaker team. So I don't know. Maybe, but that was at the Etihad, so that might be a bit different.
But here's the problem though, G. In that same game, they created a lot of chances themselves, bro, and they didn't have the quality. And the same issue that we have with Liverpool is the fact that teams are creating chances. But if we go and slap the team, well, we there complaining, bro.
No. You're right.
Chelsea will create chances, but we've gone and slap them, bro. I don't care, bro. If we win the game 5-4, bro, I don't care. 3 points is 3 points on the board for me.
But do you know, I hear that, in an isolated game. But do you know why that's a problem for me? Because we've gone and seen when that happens, right? There comes a game where where you can't score, and there's games where you can't score, right? Or you score less than you're usually allowed to score. The amount of chances we can see, we look like we can see 2 every single game. Every single game.
But you see with that then, would you not say in the first month of the first month of the season, would you just kind of go, doesn't matter, let's just get those points on the board and then we'll get better as a team? Because even in the title winning season, there was moments in this we just grinded out result. We weren't perfect all the way through, and sometimes at the start of the season when you're still getting minutes in the legs, most of these men ain't even played 90 minutes yet, so there'll be a drop off from us, there'll be a drop off from them as well. It just all depends on who's got the better quality in the final third. So they might have the better quality today, we might. But I just think if we can grind out the first month and get we finish on 12 points if we can, and then we then get better as a defensive unit, we get better as a team, then that's a good basis to start from.
100%. 100% agree. I just think with Liverpool, I think you see the way we talk about and we're quite confident in saying our attack's really good, and we can see the attack's really good. These managers are going to look at Liverpool and they're going to give us the utmost respect. And that's where we go and have a problem, because when we come on more, we're more susceptible to the counter. And it means that the chances that we have to create are so much more difficult. When we're going and looking at pre-season, we also have to take into account that these teams, they're not sitting back and saying, we're going to just soak up pressure and try to counter you. Even though they're being quite direct, they're being quite expansive as well because they're trying to get legs under their belt. The manager's telling to run about, look, we're going to try this, try that. We have to take that into account as well. Chelsea, with Tottenham, we've seen what Pochettino's done even when he was at Spurs and Liverpool. Liverpool Spurs games were always tight. Last minute goals, last minute plays, and we always had problems with them. And that's when we were at our pomp. I think the types of chances we're conceding now are so easy in comparison to the chances we've ever gone and allowed. I've seen just like a random Sunday league ball over the top, no accuracy on the pass. It's just into space. Like he hasn't even looked at where the bread is. He just hit it into space, and it's just and the bread is beaten Konate for pace, and Konate is all that stumbling around. Virgil, Konate are separate like this. Our unit isn't compact, and those things for me are like they're already telltale signs because especially when the onus is on, you've got to win a game. The anxiety amongst the players is going to be like that as well. They know, you know what, that ball at the top's going to kill me, you know. And that's the way I look at it. But I hope I'm wrong, man. I hope I'm wrong because, of course, we want Liverpool to do well, but I just don't trust the team.
Let's wait and see, man. It's going to be an exciting season. Listen, man, it's going to be very interesting to see how everybody does, not even just Liverpool, because obviously a lot of people are going to be saying a lot of things throughout the season. Let's see if all of these things obviously come to fruition. Obviously, I've got up, guys, make sure you're heading over to Ensman's TV. Let me even check right now. He's on the road to 1K. I'm just trying to see how far. Trying to see how far we are.
200 or so. Am I correct?
No, he's on 969 people. Yeah, I mean, so if you haven't subscribed yet to the channel for 969 here, then please make sure we're heading over to Endman TV. You guys can see it up there. It's in the chat as well, but you'll find it in the description later on once this video is finished. And chat to the people, obviously talk to them about the merch as well. What we got coming up for the next couple days or whatever.
Just the preview that's on Saturday, watch along, and then the player ratings, which I'm looking forward to because yeah, man, I haven't done one in ages, man. Let's chop it up with the man name. There's gonna be some wild takes. If we get cooked, yeah, I can guess everyone's gonna be angry. If we slap a team, I'll be sitting there with my chest. You know what I mean? So let's see, man. Let's see. But it'll be good, man. I've got a few different things and different ideas of how I want to kind of do these shows going forward. So stay tuned, man. Stay tuned, man. It'll be cold still.
Stay tuned. And
appreciate the love, bro.
And as I mentioned before, sorry, go on. No. I'm like the merch looks cold. Appreciate it, bro. And check it out, man, people. Make sure you're heading on over there. Jerry, chat to the people then. We got popping for the next couple of days, my guy.
Yeah, man. Bro, so I'm mad ill. I don't know what's going on, man. I'm mad. Like I feel run down as hell. But the apologies if I'm a bit low. But yeah, man. Obviously, depending on what news pops up, any breaking news, obviously, you know, we're going to be with you bringing that news, that heat as soon as possible. Also going to do a preview for the Chelsea game as well in between now and Saturday / Sunday morning, depending on how I can arrange times and stuff with people. So yeah, man, just make sure we're looking towards that. Make sure we're obviously hitting the notification bell on the Jerry James show and everyone's show as well. So GTV and Ensman, because we've got to make sure when the channels are on, you guys get notified. It's all good. It's all well and good subscribing, which is great. But now we need that next step, especially from the OG supporters that are riding. You know what I mean? And they're riding in the chat all the time. So obviously, big up to yourselves. Obviously, great streaming with obviously G and Ends all the time. And I like this kind of more debate oriented.
We have to, man. We have to.
Remember, you're always hosting, so you never get to. So you're always on the other side. I said, now today's my turn. I can just relax. I don't have to speak and say to him. But no, like mentioned before, big up, obviously. Big up Jerry, big up Ends, big up Ish, big up Roms. You know, every single time, man. Very, very good conversation. Realism Jared, you know, he said it there, you know. This is the kind of content that we want to bring you guys, you know, throughout the season. So again, stay tuned. Make sure you're slapping that notification bell for every single body. And as I always say, and you guys will obviously see on Twitter, I'm just taking the notes. We'll see. And guys, we are out.